backstage. Benghazi, do you mind speaking? Let me know it's you.
Good morning.
That's good enough for me. We take that down. Uh, welcome up. Welcome to the panel.
Good morning.
You had to kind of jump out yesterday, and I think you were trying to get you some dinner or lunch, whatever time it might have been for you.
Yeah, I heard you before I hopped in. I heard you talking about Amagansett Press, and I want to say I watched him for a while, but part of me just I can't stand some of the way he interacts, and I mean I'm the same way, so it's kind of like two bulls going at it. So I actually, if I watch his stuff, I tune into his son's channel more than his channel because it's more just the people watching aspect. You
Right.
know, that's just me personally.
Well, now I was actually addressing a comment in the chat that brought Amagansett Press up. Uh, and I've tried to be fully transparent about what where I've come from on this, my experiences with this, and somebody asked, they weren't familiar with me, just wanted kind of a little bit of who I was, and
I think it's funny that if you look back at all of Jason's old videos, because he was a professional photographer and all that stuff, so you can see when he started getting into the First Amendment community, and he did what a lot of the original auditors would do is hit up post office. Why? Because it's the easiest place. There's signage stated, all that stuff, and then you can see the shift when they realized, well, let's just start walking around town. And I think that's such a better way to do it because now you get to see a lot of the community and stuff versus the same fucking building we see in every place.
yeah, I've noticed a shift in a lot of and I don't know a better term than just the 1A community. Um, if you have a term that you prefer, I'll be glad to use it. But that would be my own ignorance on this. Oh, real quick, somebody has had a request to watch one of your videos that you posted yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
They said it was they're praising the video there. They said it was an awesome video.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, I said I would wait until you came up and see if you wanted it played here.
Nah,
Because
anybody can
just
play our
put it out.
stuff at any time. We don't care.
Well, since it was just put up yesterday, I didn't want to play it here. And I mean, obviously, we only have a very low viewing audience, but I didn't want to take views away from you for one.
Nah, that's fine. We actually have three channels under like our guys, so all three of them share it. So views are taken regardless.
Okay.
We prefer the information just to be put out there. So the more people that I tell people, the more people that put out my videos, and it's even funnier because sorry, segue really quick. A lot of people call me an auditor, so all the frauded channels are putting it up. And I'm like, that's only helping me because you're putting up the environmental stuff that we need more people to watch. So it's funny.
All right. Well, if you would like it played before we get into any real,
Oh yeah, do what you need to do. I'm just outside with the dogs right now.
uh, they said this was put up yesterday, so uh, let me ask: is it the 50K subspecial uh, or the update on the alleged child predator? There's like three that were put up within the past 24 hours, so I'm not sure exactly which one they're referring to.
That reminds me, I need to work on a video when I'm done. Actually, I might do it while we're talking. I got another one to put up. The freaking Dr. Justin Spies out in Kansas, he got censored again at a public meeting. It's like the same thing. And then the last meeting last week, he got censored at when they cut off his mic. A guy came up afterwards, is like, "You guys don't understand. You're just opening yourselves up to another federal lawsuit by doing this." And then they did it again. It's unbelievable.
Well, when people think they're in the right, no matter what side they're on, if they truly believe they're in the right and you're in the wrong, they're going to stick to their guns and they're going to keep doing it. We've seen that on both sides of the spectrum as far as, pro or anti. If
Right.
they think they're in the right, they're going to keep pressing that issue.
Right. You would think, though, after the first federal lawsuit, they would stop. You would think after the second federal lawsuit, they might question things. You would think after the third one, they might question things. Now they'd open themselves up to a fourth. Like, it's just, and they're all going through. Like, they're all being processed in litigation. It's just like, dude, how much money do you guys need to lose, or do you need to be recalled because you're just not understanding?
Well, some of that could stem from, they're just that convinced that one of these cases is going to hit and they're going to be able to redeem themselves. One of the cases will hit in their favor and they'll be able to say, look, see, we were right all along.
Right.
And when you're playing with taxpayer money, it's not, coming directly out of your pocket. It's easy to do that.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand, most of that time, if a lawsuit does pay out, it's not actual tax money, it's insurance. Like, the insurance companies are paying it out. So that's, if people want to go for a federal lawsuit, especially against like a law enforcement agency, don't target the agency. Go after their insurance provider. Because if you can prove the neglect or the wrongdoing, then the rates will go up and all that stuff. So it's easier to do it that way. If you're actually I'm not saying go for money. If you're going for money, fuck you. Don't be that type of person. If you're going for it to actually prove, an injustice for all of us, then go for the insurance. That'd be the best way to do it.
Yeah. And that's one of the problems I have, and I wanted to highlight, this is, I don't know if you can see it on screen or not, but Donna Kennedy Adams said, Mr. Benghazi, your video was awesome yesterday.
Oh, thank you, Donna.
She's the one that, brought my attention to that. So
I've spent the morning getting myself educated on this whole Kaiser situation more.
It's a deep, pardon the pun, rabbit hole there.
Oh yeah.
There are a few channels. I think did I link them for you to look at? I know I linked them for somebody to look at that can kind of help give you a top-down view, and then some that will give you a more in-depth view with documentation.
I watched one. I think it was Frauditor Troll. He did one on his other channel.
Josh Prime.
Yes, on that one. And I saw that because For Public Safety put up a community post. I saw it and I was like, I think this is the guy that everyone's been talking about. So let me watch this. And I watched it, and I don't know For Public Safety. Never watched any of his stuff. I've just recently heard about him and started looking into what's going on. And I spoke with him one night on Generally Specifics panel, and he was talking about all these things. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm giving my input, not knowing shit. He's saying all these names and stuff. And then I'm watching this video this morning, and I'm like, okay, things are starting to click, right? Like the DAC is all starting to click in my mind. Like, okay, this is what everyone's been talking about. I am feeling like an idiot. And I feel so
Well,
dumb and so ignorant, but I'm understanding now. So I just spent the last 3 hours watching different videos and different live streams from like Shiz and all these things, and like literally like fought a roundup and stuff and going down the rabbit hole. I'm like, and then I'm like seeing SC. I'm like, what is this SC? And then they're referring to Schrodinger's cat. I'm like, wait, I remember him, like watching him fucking years ago and all that. And I'm like sitting here thinking, I'm like, holy shit, I've been out of touch for that long, been disconnected from YouTube for that long, that I completely forgot everyone that I originally watched years ago and all these names and stuff like that. I'm sitting here and everything's starting to click again. And I'm like, there's no fucking way Schrodinger's cat would have, let alone endorsed, but put up with what's going on with this Kaiser guy. I don't understand how these, and I've asked this question. I don't understand how he's got 300 fucking people in the chat, let alone however many of them are paid. It's just like, and then this Josh dude put it all together. It's a fucking cult. These people are literally following a cult.
yeah, it's sad to watch. I mean, and I don't want to trash the people that are watching it. That's not what I do. I mean,
No,
yeah,
I mean, to each their own. Everyone's got their own niche and interest and everything. But if you at least, hey, he said it himself. I just don't understand, like, bro. So, as a bystander, I'm truly interested to watch this situation play out.
uh, I don't know how you are about the military, but if you're
100% supportive. I actually was going to go in. I did my first 2 years of Air Force ROTC at UD. I did not sign my contract because it was during the Obama administration, and I saw what he was fucking trying to do. So, thankfully, they educated me. And when I was reading over the contracts, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And funny enough, when we interviewed that federal agent a couple weeks ago, he talked about that same shit. And afterwards, I told my wife, I told YMC, I was like, see, that's the shit that I've been telling you about. He said it right there, and he provided all the proof. So I love the military, fully support it. I love my brothers and sisters in arms, and I've actually lost 2 of them over there. So when he said all that shit, oh, dude, okay, it's actually started to piss me off. When he talked about getting hit with the RPG in the Humvee, my buddy Ross lost his life as an M2 gunner in his Humvee, not from an RPG. Okay, so it would have been different, and I've been even more pissed. But there was an insurgent who tossed a grenade in his Humvee. Ross actually went in, covered the grenade, saved his crew, lost his life. And then my other friend Liz died from an IED while she was defusing it. But hearing that and hearing him fucking say that, I'm like, dude, you better hope I don't fucking see you.
yeah. Well, if you're interested in the military aspect of it and want to see the paperwork on his military career,
Oh yeah, Master Sergeant.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sergeant
Yep.
has that.
That's why I was like, that's why I had to come outside with the dogs, because I'm like, this motherfucker is gonna send me down to Alabama.
Well, one, he's not there, and 2, we don't encourage anybody, and I can say this for all the channels that are covering him, that
Right.
They don't encourage anybody to go real world on him as far as confronting him and that kind of thing. They're trying to let Alabama rebuild their case, I should say. And
I fucking hope they do. That's gonna be some serious shit. It's gonna be really interesting.
I can only say the rumor is that it has been reopened, and they are, trying to bring back charges against him. Now, I can't speak firsthand to that, but that is something that has been said on YouTube. So, as with anything else, you have to take YouTube with a grain of salt.
Oh yeah, got the whole 5-pound tub of salt on that one.
Yeah, like I said, that whole situation is a very deep rabbit hole, and just be warned, being on this channel you know, they monitor this channel.
Oh, that's okay. I welcome those assholes to come back at me. He was told once before, don't fuck with the rabbit. By all means, Kaiser, start fucking with me, buddy. You were warned by your chat, by your roughnecks, do not fuck with me. By all means, fuck with me.
Okay, well, then you're aware.
I watched his chat that night. His paid members said to him, do not fuck with the rabbit. So
All right.
if that's his people telling him, hey, fuck with me, buddy. Come on.
I don't know how long ago that was.
That was like a month ago when I was talking to him for public safety.
Okay. Because I know his, if you look at his chat from the earlier, well, if you can find them, which people have them, if you could find some of his earlier stuff, the people that were following then are not the same accounts that you see in there now.
Yeah,
Now,
go figure.
they may be the same people under sock accounts or what have you, or just flat out new people. But he has a handful or so of people that have stayed on their real accounts and have been there from the beginning. But a lot of what you see are new accounts. Well, I say new accounts, newer accounts, names that you don't recognize from anywhere in the community. But he does have a handful or so of loyal, sorry about that, loyal followers that have stuck with him from the start.
It'll actually be a very interesting case study when it's all over for somebody, because the fact that he could pull in that views and that amount of money, there's definitely something to be said. I'll say that.
You know, my view, and I've heard other people say this as well, is it's a lot of it has to do with the whole auditor bad. I'm gonna watch this guy.
Okay, yeah, actually that makes sense. Yeah, one of the videos earlier said that, and that does totally make sense. Because it just, I don't understand why there's such a hatred for this culture, though.
I'm sorry, hatred for
just the culture of the auditing community. And now I understand that there is quite a few fucked up people in this community, and you can tell they're totally doing it for money. But there's others that do it in such a good way, and I hope that both sides of the aisle, both the audit and the fraudit side, will continue to tighten the circle, so to speak, and weed out all of those ne'er-do-wells.
Well, you know, a lot of the older auditors that were being made fun of and what have you on these other channels have removed themselves from active YouTube, I should, because you don't see much of them anymore. You know, it's kind of a newer generation of what they, and I'm using the term auditor, whether that's correct or not. That's the term everybody understands. But you don't see a lot of the original auditors that drew all this attention to this by doing the, let's say, high conflict videos. A lot of those are gone. Now, whether they just finally got their fill of it, made enough money on it to say, done, or caught enough charges and they got locked up. I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to why somebody else would quit, but they're not around anymore. Now, there's a few, OMYAAS, one. He's been around for a long time. There's a few people that are still trying to do it, but even they have changed the way they go about things. And in all fairness, I have not watched a lot of the auditor videos recently.
So it's funny. It's funny now that I sit here speaking with you and I think back on it, looking at these hazy clouds coming over the mountains. I sat there and giving you a brief backstory. Um, I had my own small business at home, and it was basically computer work. Like I literally sat in front of the computer all fucking day long, had my bed right there, so I never left my house. And this was pre-COVID. It was online community management, and basically it was for anyone, any content creator that basically needed a babysitter for their Discord or their YouTube chats, anything like that. And it's in the most layman terms, I was the person they would hire to watch all the back end stuff, the day-to-day operations, so that they could do their content, focus on their content, come in and just hang out with the chat and not have to worry about all the mundane shit. I'd hire, train, deal with all the moderators, implement all the policies, do all the rules, everything, all the back end, right? That's what we would do. Did that for years, and you can see on my resume all the channels that we helped out with now are in the millions of subscribers. And the last one, my last small client, it's this Argentinian kid. He actually just passed 100,000. It was such a hard role for him, and I've kind of kept his contract going free because I really do appreciate all his hard work. So he just passed that. So doing that for years, I would literally sit on YouTube all fucking day and watch these things. And it was during the time when the Sobsit movement was super high. So watching Schrodinger's cat and all these things during the day, and being on that side, I was still more on the law enforcement side, having worked in private security for the state for years, for the state entities and everything like that, and working with Safe Street, Newcastle County, Delaware State Police, all these entities every single day. So I was definitely a Blue Line supporter. Working with content creators like Donut Operator, Officer Daniels, Mike Cobb, 664, BuzzFam, all those law enforcement-based content creators, and sitting there like, yeah, fuck these sovereign citizen motherfuckers, fuck all that stuff, right? But then I had a client who we did a documentary to rebuke a Vice News documentary about him because it was a smear campaign, and we're like, okay, let's put out the truth. So I went down a rabbit hole with him, and when I came out of that rabbit hole is when I changed my pseudonym to the White Rabbit, because I came out of a rabbit hole unscathed, and I'm spreading this truth. And what we put out was so damning to certain politicians, where it started opening my eyes more to what's going on with the whole theater of the government and things. And I started looking at things a little bit differently. Started looking at these guys going into the post office and challenging the cops a little bit more differently, saying, okay, I see that now. I've always put myself on the side of the cop, right? I'm not going to deal with this shit. I'm not going to put up with this stuff. And now, standing on the other side, just viewing it as a citizen, like, okay, we have this piece of paper that's supposedly the law of the land. It gives us these rights. The courts have ruled on these rights, like the camera is just an extension of your eye. What your eye can see, the camera, no different. There's certain things you shouldn't do, right? But if you're doing it just as a normal person, like how society used to be, going around with a camera, recording things in your daily life and things like that, and just pressing it instead of saying, yes, sir, here's my ID, just because they asked for it, when we have things in place where they don't need to identify themselves. And I'm guilty of this too. I've done this myself. I've requested ID as a security officer on private property of the neighborhoods where there's only supposed to be residents there. So I need to verify if they are a resident or not. If not, they can't be there type deal. Like these gated communities where we have hours where the gate is malfunctioning, stuff like that. So I'm guilty of it too. But looking back, I'm like, fuck, did I violate these people's Fourth Amendment rights? Did I do this the one time I detained someone? They were literally going balls to the wall, where it was a threat to not only my safety, but the safety of the citizens. Thinking back, did I violate their rights? I thought about this the other night, speaking with someone. Did I violate his rights? But at the same time, he thanked me months later for putting him in that situation, restraining him and making him sit there and have a discussion with me. And he went through AA after that and all that. So he thanked me for it. But I still ask myself, did I violate his rights? by putting him in handcuffs for 30 minutes? Did I do that? So sitting there and learning more about these things and looking through case law, and people will say, you're not a fucking scholar, you're not a lawyer, and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But I've also been to court, not only in my personal life for all these things, I've been to court so many fucking times as a security officer, going in and having to press trespassing charges or having to press charges on people who have assaulted us and all these things. So I've been through the system numerous times on that side. Now, sitting here on this side, looking at those same laws that I enforced, having to look as a citizen and read the different case laws, I'm like, oh my goodness. So looking at all these things, I don't appreciate the bad auditors, and we'll use that broad term broadly. I don't appreciate them because they do paint a very bad light, not only on the people who are trying to expose the truth and paint a light on the darkness of areas of the government, but it also paints a bad light on the American Republic as a whole, because we have this Constitution and we're allowing those people to do it with nefarious intent. And it takes a while for us to see that intent. But being on that other side and then standing on the side and going through court now and having 5 of my 6 cases dismissed just because of their unconstitutionality, I'm not going in like certain people and putting a camera in someone's face. I did that once. I was like, I don't fucking like this. This is not for me. Everyone finds their own style. But going in, and it's no different than they have 30 cameras in their building watching you, and their cameras can zoom in on all your private information. They got way better detail. I know, I've ran some of these systems. They got way better. They can see. So are they violating all of these laws that you're trying to say that we're violating with the private information and HIPAA and all these things? So the hypocrisy is there. So like I said, I do appreciate certain people exposing it and doing it correctly. But it's really hard to see who's doing it for those reasons. And I want to highlight this. Unless you are like super great on your marketing and you're pulling in massive amounts of views like off the jump, I'll reference Accountability for All right now because I know he's getting some pretty good views like when he publishes. YouTube don't pay shit, people. So when people say like you're in it for the money, like, they may be doing it for money because it's nice to get some, something back as appreciation for your work. However, this is not a money-making thing. Like, if you go and talk to any of the old ones that you've referenced, ask them if they've recouped any of their money, and I probably will put a guarantee that they'll say no, because in terms of gas, food, lodging, all these things, you're putting out way more than you're ever going to get back unless you're like a super, super good channel, or have a good merch going, things like that, or are a solid grifter and can get $10,000 in donation asks, which I applaud you if you are, but fuck you because you hurt all of the rest of the people who actually need it for something good. So there's so many facets to it, which kind of rouse myself and the line up, because we get thrown into this a lot for what we do. But for instance, for us, we honestly just enjoy putting out different things. It honestly doesn't matter what the story is. And putting out different things. We enjoy sitting down with a glass of wine, editing a video at night, putting our humor on things, and just chatting with different people around the world like yourself. Because in this world now, especially after COVID, it's very hard to sit down and talk with people and get to know people and establish those connections further. So the Republic is definitely dying. You can see that on the streets. You can see it in the vibes of the community. So this is like one of those social aspects for us, at least. I'll say that just for us, that we use to connect with different people. So there's a lot of things in the other community that are wrong, but there's definitely some things that are right. And I hope that both sides of the aisle can continue to close that circle and prop up those righteous things on the column for everyone to see, because it's supposed to be the land of the free. I mean, we are kind of the freest country in the world. I mean, go to another country and do the same shit. You see what happens to you.
Right.
So we're losing those freedoms more and more every day. And if people think that I'm wrong in that statement, I challenge you to go out like any of these frauditors or auditors with a camera and see what happens to you.
Well, you don't even have to do that. You can do some research
Right.
into the law, some of the newer laws and even some of the older stuff that's been on the books that they've let set and now are trying to enforce.
Right. And there's a great book I welcome everyone to read. It's 3 felonies a day, I believe it's called. It's everyone's committing at least 3 felonies a day that can get us locked up for it, and we're not even aware of it.
Okay. That sounds like an interesting read.
It is a very, very interesting read. Andy Sheets will talk about that all day long if you get him going on it. But it's one of those things when he's out there every day with a sign, educating people on different aspects, and it's 3 felonies a day. Each and every one of us is committing at least one, and you are unaware.
Yeah, I don't doubt that a bit. I mean, I truly don't. I'm sure that I inadvertently break some law, statute, ordinance, whatever.
We're probably breaking 5 just sitting here.
That's quite possible. I mean, uh, Mitch said he's actually read that book you referenced. Uh, by the way, he's been giving you some shout outs in the chat, just saying he got a new sub from being on your channel, and
Well, thanks. I appreciate everyone, and it's been such a weird journey because I had my channel for a long time. My channel's been censored 6 different times. It's been like fully censored, purged 6 different times from YouTube. And this past time, they gave us monetization as a thank you, I guess. So it's kind of weird. It's been a really weird journey, but now we're just in it for the ride and kind of having fun. We're not doing any of the real crazy stuff I used to do. So like I said, now we're just doing it for fun, highlighting whatever stories people send us and whatever we find interesting.
I want to go back to we were discussing some things yesterday about how you and I think you said Lion, because you'll have to forgive me, I'm not familiar with your channel.
Yep, Lion is my wife.
Okay, but some of the things that you were talking about yesterday, the props and things that you use to draw attention. Uh, we kind of continued a discussion a little bit along those lines after you had left, and one of the things that I had asked, and you may be able to answer better because you're the one that's doing this. Uh, do you think that some of the props that you're using, and I understand you're doing it to get the attention on you, but do you think that clouds your message?
Sometimes, yes. But those are the people who won't listen either way. And we've seen that. We see. I'll give you a great example. We did one out here in North Carolina, in front of an inn, a very, very highly respected establishment, like super posh, super posh. Okay, like if you can understand what I'm putting down, right?
Yeah, I got you.
We didn't do it. We weren't targeting anybody. It was just a really nice spot, and I wanted to get a skit video for the channel because I was working on a video at the time. So to be brutally honest, it wasn't a targeted thing. We weren't doing it against the business or anything. I was just trying to get a funny video because the location was really good for like a cutscene. So we were out there working on it, and the business got pissed, obviously. So they start yelling at me, and we keep filming. The business owner rolls up on a pickup truck and goes in, and the 3 of them come out a minute later and start getting in our face and yelling at us and all that stuff. And it's a pretty good video. It's a pretty good Darren video. So, like, I think it was about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks later, I went to the post office, and that business owner was driving by. He flipped a bitch Yui right in the middle of the road, pulled up in the post office and came inside. He's like, "Are you the rabbit?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You remember me?" I was like, "No, who the fuck are you?" He's like, "I'm up the street," and I looked at him. He's like, I was like, "Oh, okay, I remember you." And he sat there and he was like, I was really fucking pissed that day because all of our customers complained and stuff. But I sat there after that and thought about it for a moment. And he said, I noticed the little thing on your sign which said that your channel. So I went online and started to look. And I looked through your channel. And he was like, "Man, I got to tell you, I'm pissed at myself." He's like, "You fucking baited me so hard and I fell into your trap." And I was telling him, I was like, I honestly wasn't trying to cast a line that day. I was literally just trying to make a funny video. And it just, it happened so well. And he was like, "Man, you guys do it really well because you get the ones who are willing to listen and you just tear down the ones who aren't." And the way we're able to do that is because I've, like I said, I've worked in the private security and law enforcement sector. So I know how to deal with body language and know if a person's willing to listen off the jump. And my partner, Ron, when he does it, he's worked in the GOP. He's worked in different sectors of politics. He knows. So when we do it, and we do it in different ways, I don't have time to sit there and deal with someone who's not willing to listen. So I'll just fuck you up and send you crying and move on with my day because I'm trying to have fun. And he'll sit there and engage you more and all that stuff. But he's sitting there telling me, he's like, "Man, you got me." And then he's making phone calls, and he called his daughter, who works for Fox News, as one of Gutfield's publicists, and she was telling him, don't engage, don't respond to any of that stuff. They got you, So when he was talking to me at the post office, he's like, "I watched more and more of your videos, and I started to realize that we can't do what we want or what we used to do in this country." And I was so blind to it because I sat down and stayed in my own path as a business owner. And he sat there and thanked me. And he said, it took me getting pissed off beyond belief to understand that I'm getting upset at the wrong thing. He said, "I'm focusing my anger at you when I should be focusing my anger above at the people that we put in with our vote." And I was like, that's what we wanted to do. I told him, I was like, thankfully I didn't have to sit there and talk with you for 20 minutes. You did it yourself. I was like, that's it. And since then, he's fed us a whole bunch of information about different things in the community that we've run stories on and stuff. So that's just one example of a business owner, for instance, who came out and was super, super pissed. And we've had numerous examples of people stopping on the side of the road, talking with us. And then those same people have since come out and protest with us. One, funny enough, was the Jewish protester who got assaulted a month or two ago. He stopped and talked with Sean Porter and I on the street like a year ago. And we invited him to come out and just experience it from our side instead of from the liberal side saying, "Why the fuck are you doing this? Why the fuck?" And then he's like, after you're doing it one day, he's like, "I can see why you do it. It's not only is it a lot of fun, but you get to engage a ton of people and educate them on not only your message, but just how to be a decent human being." He's like, "I totally get it. I get it. I get why you use these." And his signs are like, "Nuke Gaza now, die in the tunnel," like the most craziest stuff for the Israel stuff. He's like, "I get why you do it." So yes, it does turn some people off, but those people aren't the ones who would be willing to listen to the message anyway. And tying a little bit into faith here, and I'm not sure how you feel on the subject, so I'm sorry if I overstep. It feels like the Lord has been tightening our circle, for instance, and we've seen it with a lot of other people who are, in their faith. He is weeding out all the infiltrators, weeding out the nefarious people, and connecting those who have the same mindset and getting us ready for something. I don't know what that is, but you can see it. So when those people aren't willing to listen and you have all the others who are, and some of those people who aren't willing to listen are the ones who claim to be Christians. Like, what would Jesus do? Why would God want to? Well, why did God give me free will? I understand you think that a word, some words maybe in the Bible that says this, that, and the other, but he gave me free will. I'm not eating from the poisonous tree. I'm speaking my mind as though he wanted me to, not tainted by some fruit. So I sit there and I propose that to them, and those who aren't willing to listen, just I don't think that they're ones who speak it and aren't willing to walk it. So yeah, we do turn people off, but those aren't the people we want to reach.
Well, I want to propose a counterpoint to that. Uh, some of those people are the people you would like to reach, but you know, some of them are not going to approach something that looks a little wild and crazy to them to have the discussion that about the message you're trying to put out there.
Right.
You know, you, just because they don't stop and engage, and it's something else I brought up. A lot of the people driving by, passing by, they're going by, and I'm just saying at a low speed on average. They might be going by you at 30 miles an hour, and all they're going to see is your props. They're not going to have time to read, your channel name, or other than whatever you might have that says, something big and bold and designed to get the attention. You know, they're going to drive by and go, okay, we got some fruity protester over here.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that to be derogatory. I'm just, the mindset.
No, yeah, no, I get it.
And they're just going to drive by and go, okay, we got some kind of fruity protester over there. I'm just going to keep going. I'm not getting involved in that. And you might be able to reach them with the message if it wasn't. And I'm not trying to bash on the way you're doing things, but if it wasn't so outlandish, it might be more inviting.
Yeah, we've sat and we've talked about this numerous times. All of us sign guys, and everything, and it's hard. It really is. It's hard to get a good, captivating message, not only to hook them, but to keep them talking. And all the signs we've tried, we can't find anything good other than reverting to what the left did years back and just going full subversive. It truly does work. And the short amount of time we have to do it, if they're not willing to sit and listen in, the first 30 seconds of it, it's no point. It's just we don't have that much time.
Well, I can understand that. I guess
I'm totally with you, though. I'm totally understanding where you're coming from. If I could get a good way to do it, we would use it. But we haven't found a good way to do it yet.
And, on the other side of that, Muckster was, I was discussing it with Muckster, and he brought up, even, if there's 1,000 people go by and only 2 of those people research into it, that's 2 people that didn't know before. So, I can see that. I can't argue that.
Right, but also ask yourself how many of those people took a picture and put it on social media.
Yeah, they might. You got a point there that I haven't thought about.
So with that, I'll say this: when that happened with Ron, for instance, when he took the Porter penis up to the baseball tournament, not only was it fucking awesome, because if you remember, I mean, I don't know how you guys were growing up, but when we were all growing up, fucking penis jokes were funny, especially for teenagers. Penis jokes are funny. So seeing a giant cartoon penis, the baseball players loved it. It was like the funniest thing, because it's literally like all the shit that the high school kids and the low college kids still do. It's the penis pranks and penis jokes because they're so immature and asinine. It's just funny. So they all loved it, right? And it went so wild because they were all sharing it online. That was it Keith Olbermann or whatever? He found it and started having a rant on one of his shows about it. And it's just like, dude, you're just helping us, because now you're educating people that there's a giant penis out there, and people are gonna go looking about it, and then people are gonna start asking why.
Yeah.
But I do welcome anyone. If anyone has any good ideas for signs and stuff, please email us or go to our website. Like we welcome any of those ideas. We're making new signs all the time. So if we can find something that'll hook people without being super subversive, fucking send it our way, please.
Oh, I'll tell you. Oh, go ahead, Muck.
I was going to say, I'll tell you something. I had this isn't up your alley, but something I thought of one time from watching what some of those people do. I'd like to, is some of them they'll go out, they'll be standing out in front of a church auditing. I thought I'd combine that with what with the like with like Jeff Gray does. I thought I'd just stand out in front of a church on a Sunday morning with a sign that says, "If you love Jesus, you'll give us money. Give me money," and just see what people do.
You should totally do it.
It's,
You should totally do it. They're gonna get so upset at you.
yeah,
Uh,
and
since you're here, would you mind? I don't mean to be stepping away, but I do need to take care of something real quick.
no, no, you got to stay. You must stay. I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll, I'll,
What is
I'll,
what is it that you have backstage? So, is
oh, that was your playlist.
oh, is it still going? Okay.
No, I restarted the stream. We were over 12 hours on that stream, so I restarted one for I just changed the title a little bit.
Oh, I see. Okay, because I made my playlist public, so you can go and get it then. I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
even
I
think of
went
that
and
when I
grabbed.
made it public. Okay, okay. I saw that down there playing, and I thought, hey, how's that going? Anyway, yeah, go do what you're doing.
I'll be back shortly.
I want to I wanted to ask Benghazi what his problem with Jeff Gray is, anyhow. And I mean, I'm not saying that in a confrontational way. I'm actually curious why, because I really like him.
I did it first, and I still appreciate his work. I really do want to speak to him personally on this subject, so I'm kind of hesitant to talk to him because Sean talked to him about it, and Sean's fucking pissed at me still. But I've seen the record. So, um, are you familiar with Andy Sheets in Florida?
No.
Okay, so Andy Sheets was basically one of the original auditors before Jeff got started, and Andy Sheets is referenced in a lot of case law now across the country because different places are trying to use Punta Gorda v. Sheets and saying that you can't record in a public place, which, I mean, that's a whole different debate we can get into. And they're using that, and that's currently in federal litigation for its unconstitutionality. So his stuff has made federal news, and he's like one of the most subversive sign guys out there. So, um, what was it? I don't know how many years ago it was now exactly. I'd have to go back and look. But Andy is a super, super paranoid guy. 100% super fucking paranoid about everything and anything. That's just how he is. He wears a body camera 24/7, and it's always on. He talked to his attorney one day about the case, and it was on speakerphone. And he caught his attorney basically admitting to railroading his case and
His
not
own,
giving a fuck. What's that? Go ahead.
his own attorney dumped, ruined his case for him?
More or less, yes. So he kind of admitted that in the phone call. Now the problem is that's a two-party state, and Andy didn't tell him he was recording because, as Andy says, he forgot he was recording. And after talking with Andy and hanging out with him a bunch, I can totally see that because he goes a million miles an hour. So long story short, he got his attorney on recording, and then he fucking put it on YouTube saying, "Be aware." Oh, no. Hold on. Let me back up. Wrong. He got his attorney on recording, and what he did was he sent the recording to Jeff Gray. So I think he put it on YouTube as like unlisted or so. However, he transmitted the recording to Jeff. Okay. Now, Jeff Gray and this attorney are friends, buddy. And Jeff forwarded that email to his attorney and told Andy, "I'm not getting involved." But Jeff basically just got himself involved and forwarded the message to his attorney, more or less, instead of saying, "I'm not getting involved," and deleting it. Okay. So he forwarded it to his attorney. His attorney went to the fucking courts and said, "There's an illegal wiretap on me." Andy, long story short, went to federal prison for wiretap and is now on probation for it. Um, so the emails and stuff through public records and all these different things, Jeff Gray forwarded the email to his attorney, and there's proof. So essentially, Jeff Gray snitched that there was a fucking wiretapping thing out there while saying I'm not getting involved. So people can take it how they will, and I do still want to talk to Jeff about it. But my whole thing is, you said you didn't want to get involved, but you got yourself involved by forwarding the email. So that's my whole thing about it. People can take it how they want. I still appreciate Jeff's thing, but to me, I feel that that's kind of snitchy. And like, dude, you said you don't want to get involved, but you forwarded an email getting yourself directly involved. So that's my thing.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, it's not anything crazy, but it's just like we got the records to prove it, and it's just I don't know how I can trust someone with that. And I understand that they're friends more so than him and Andy, but it's like, yeah,
yeah, I would have problem with that too. I'm real big on loyalty and stuff like that. But
right.
It's like I mean, if you tell me a secret, I mean, it's locked up. It's like, I mean, I've never told anybody that killing likes little girls.
Right, and it's one of those things where if you
wait a minute. We don't even want to play with a rumor like that.
Allegedly.
I didn't say it was anything weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I like little girls, not in a weird way, but I mean, I have a lot of fun with my nieces,
Yeah, but you know how people like to clip and twist.
They're gonna spin it now, Muckster.
But okay, yeah.
If you view it from how Andy puts it, where he was giving Jeff the heads up that, hey, this dude is actively trying to railroad my case. Be careful. He might try and fuck yours up. Like, I can get that. I can see every stance of it, but people don't want to talk about this issue. It's a very contentious issue in the community. We have the records to prove it. But it's one of the things that's just like, dude, okay, why? That's it.
No, I can see that. It's, I can totally understand that. I thought you had a problem with the way he did his
no
auditing totally stuff, and that's what I thought. I thought, boy, I can't understand why you'd be.
It's just a behind the scenes thing.
Yeah, cool. And I wasn't. By the way, I have no idea what you and Killen have been talking about all day. So, if Yin's had something going,
we just been talking about. We kind of picked up a little bit on some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. And we were actually I just brought around, come around to where you and I had talked about. After he had left, the two, out of 1,000, you got two people to look and investigate into what you were trying to say, kind of thing. But yeah, I was just trying to carry the conversation on from there.
So Benghazi, tell me this, because I think you might be a little more aware of these kind of laws. I know what I thought, but we were having another conversation yesterday about one party and two party states. And somebody said, if I live in a one party state, but I call somebody in a two party state, is it okay to record? And vice versa, if they are in a one party state and I'm in a two party state, would it be okay?
No, they still have to. They have to inform you it's on a recorded line.
That's what I kind of thought it would go by whatever state you are in. If you're making the call from there.
No, it goes by whatever state you're calling to. So, for instance, me, I'm in a one party, but we do a lot of stuff calling Florida. So I have to tell them you're on a recorded line.
Now the thing I said, because the conversation came up about, I forget exactly. It was like with a utility company or something. Now I forget. But anyway, I said, all those places, whenever you call in, they say this may be recorded.
Yep.
And I thought that would be your out right there.
Yep.
And I
That's
thought
your
if you,
disclaimer.
yeah, and I thought if you really wanted to nail it down, when you talk to the person, you say, "Is this being recorded?" And if they say, "Well, we're not sure," well, does it bother you if it's recorded? And obviously, they're going to have to say no because it's their
The
company,
the
and that would be
easiest
your
way to
out there.
do it is this. Like, hey, how you doing? My name's the White Rabbit. I'm an investigative journalist calling from Washington, D.C. on a recorded line. Do you have a moment to speak?
Well, see, this is a case where they're getting a runaround, and so you wouldn't want that person to necessarily know that you're recording them, even though they, because if they know you're making a separate recording from theirs, they might talk more carefully. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
so if they open it up with saying the line's recorded and stuff, then that gives you the option to start recording.
So you're
However,
totally free.
yes. However, if there's nothing like that and you're not calling a utility company or anything like that, it doesn't have it. You're just you're calling like to a city hall, like a Ricky Dink town hall.
Yeah.
Like, hi, my name's White Rabbit. I'm calling on a recorded line. Do you have a moment to speak? You do it really quick and like in your like.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, hey, I'm such and such calling on recorded line. Hey, blah, 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 you add it into whatever you're saying. So it's like, if they agree after that point, you're good. They may have
That's a
not
good one.
heard it, but they still have agreed to speak. Now, if they say, if it's like a mutual conversation with, okay, for instance, I had this conversation with BSBT. He had a conversation with his attorney, and it was recorded. She didn't know it was recorded, but it was a one-party state, so it didn't matter. He published it. His subsequent conversation or communications with her, she stated, "I do not want this published," and continued to go on. And he tried to say, well, by her continuing to go on was her consent. I'm like, no. That's not how it works. She just verbally told you that she does not want her communications published. Furthermore, she's an attorney of the law. So by her rescinding her consent, you need to pull it out. If they rescind, if it's such a touchy subject, even if you're in a one-party state and you want it, if they rescind consent, just don't even touch it, because you're stepping into federal wiretapping things, and the way the feds work, it's just not even worth dealing with it. And that's what I was telling people. And I was telling people, like the guy people, he goes by people, and I was telling him, you're stepping into federal territory. If it's a phone call recorded and stuff, it passes out of state bounds because it goes wiretapping at that point. As mundane and old as that fucking law is, it still applies. So you're stepping into federal territory, and I told him, you do not understand what you're fucking with, because the feds do not play a normal game at all. So if someone just verbally told you they do not consent to you publishing their words, and especially if it's like a kind of privileged conversation, don't fucking do it. It's you're stepping into such territory that you are literally going to wade into a muck full of shit that it's going to suck you down and suffocate you. And I told him it's not worth it, because there's no one out there that will be able to afford your legal fees to find the right attorney to fight this, because it's such an old law and the way they can spin it. Just don't even do it. If someone rescinds consent, just end it at that point. You can publish up to that point, but don't anymore. It's just, don't fucking do it. Don't step in the territories. Don't even get yourself into it. And people are like, well, I'm like, dude, just look at what happened to Andy Sheets. It's a prime example right there. And then look at all the other wiretapping stuff. They don't fuck around.
Let me one word thing about the law, like you said, you call up and say, hey, this is White Rabbit calling on a recorded line. Would you mind talking to me? I mean, isn't it a little weird that the law says we all have to call ourselves White Rabbit?
Yeah, I do agree. It's really fucking weird, especially in 2024. I thought we all had 69 genders or something like that now.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. What's wrong with me being the Rainbow Rabbit? God damn it! I don't care what you think.
here's actually another example, and I'm sorry I'm blabbing a lot. When I called the mayor of Newland, North Carolina, I told him in the jump that it was on a recorded line, and I asked him if he had any comments about the meeting from the prior night. And we spoke for a good 30 some minutes, and 20 of it I published. And everyone in the comments and on Facebook who was kind of on the opposition was like, "You did that against his will. Like, you did that." I'm like, dude, I fucking told him it was on a recorded line. Plus, it's a one-party state, and it's like probably one of the best conversations you're ever going to hear from a mayor. Like, what's your problem? It's just funny.
Yeah. Well, as I was just reminded before I came here, and somebody told me, "Oh, you got to go see what's happening over at this other place." There's a lot of idiots out there.
Yeah, and I will admit, I was one of those idiots for not understanding what DAC was until this morning. So I am so sorry.
Oh, that I wouldn't have known myself until not long ago. In fact, the DAC hashtag itself, well, I think it only really got created a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's a recent development in the whole.
Still, the point still stands.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you were saying there. You came in quick.
I said my point still stands.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace.
There you go. Okay.
I got to tell you what I just heard over there, though, and that because someone called me and said, "Go there, right? Go to TPP right now." And I thought maybe they were tearing us down for some reason or something. And it's that Ascendant was over there, and Grim Reaper was asking her about fraud at Wrangler. And it looked like it could be interesting. Then the idiots got involved. And the one guy, just to give you a little example of how people will talk with authority and not know what the fuck they're talking about. Because Grim was like questioning her about Wrangler's supposed Purple Hearts. This guy goes, yeah. You can't get a Purple Heart. He says, to get a Purple Heart, you've got to be wounded in combat and pretty much almost die, and you got to like save somebody's life. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm glad I'm not on that panel because this guy's a moron. He's like talking like he knows what he's talking about. It's like, I think we all know that you don't have to be that seriously injured for the Purple Heart. It's like he was talking about the Medal of Honor or something, but I don't know. This is the kind of thing that annoys me. I will move on.
Look, I know yesterday you had said you had wanted to talk to him about some things, and I've been sitting back just kind of trying to be.
Well, I think you probably weren't here. I asked him about it. I wanted to ask him about what his problem with Jeff Gray was, and we talked about it. It's more of Jeff's more of a more moral thing than what Jeff does in his videos, and that's what I couldn't understand why anybody that's at all in the community, as they like to say, would have a problem with his videos. And so
I'm real big on like honor and integrity, and that shows me that Jeff is lacking some integrity.
Oh, I saw what Lupe said. I saw something about Shiz, and I went over and I went back and looked at it, and I didn't see her there. So, so Essie just bailed as soon as she saw that somebody was there that had all the receipts, as the kids like to say today. Anyway, I don't want to talk about fraud at Wrangler anymore.
Well, to be fair, Rabbit is just getting introduced and dove head first into that rabbit hole.
So to speak. Pun unintended.
So he was asking some questions about it.
Well,
it has been a little bit of a topic of discussion. Just trying to help him understand where a lot of the people are coming from on that.
Yeah, I didn't know you were talking. Like I said, I only heard because when I came to chat, I was listening to them, so I didn't hear what Yins were
Right.
saying. So I only heard like 20 seconds as I was coming in before.
Yeah, I mean, that was that discussion was going on before you popped in here, but I didn't know if maybe you had been listening or not. But
No,
at that time, anyway.
I did check out. I've seen one of your videos so far. More recent one on is it Lawrence, Kansas? The council meeting.
Yeah, I actually have another one to put up today. They did that shit again. They did it again Wednesday night.
I just sit there and I shake my head watching that stuff. It's like, how do they? And I've seen a lot of people post like council meetings and city councils and stuff, and where someone will say, "Look, we've got a crooked police chief," and they'll sit there going, "You cannot talk about you're here. You can only bring up an issue that's on the agenda.
Talk
You
about
can,
the administration. No.
and that's exactly what the First Amendment says. You can go in there and redress your
Dude,
grievance.
it
Your
is
grievance
wild.
does not have to be what they think your grievance should be.
We it's funny because we stumbled across the fucking meetings, and when we started publishing it is when you started to see a shift in the community. Because I mean, there's a lot of people that believe this, and you can go through my recent subscribers and kind of see for yourself. The big channels are watching what I put up, like the big guys, because I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll say what I want. I'll do what I want. I'll put up what I want. That's what the free speech has given us. I'm not going to be there and incite violence or do fight words and all that stuff. I know what to say and what not to say, right? So I'm literally testing the bounds. And when we discovered that council meetings are where the fucking shit is at, like inside the meetings and in the hallways, go to your meetings, guys. Like, everyone in the chat, get off your fucking ass and go to a meeting and just sit there and see for yourself what kind of crap is going on in your local municipality. It is wild.
I'll tell you, I was 1A before 1A was cool. I used to go to all my borough. I live in a small town.
Yeah.
It's like population's like 1,100 or something. But I used to go to the meetings all the time, and I would put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people who'd like going, why you there? But we had this idiot mayor. Like I said, okay, now picture this town. The last I knew, the population was around 1,100. It could be less. This lady thought she was like Richard Daley.
Yeah.
She was one of those ones. I can remember I was on this one committee the one time, and she calls up and she says, "Hello, Dan. This is Mayor Ida Reams," and that is her real name. I don't care if anybody knows it. And I'm like, there's more than one Ida Reams in this town, But that's just the way she always was. Anybody she'd call, this is Mayor, and she thought, and it was like she thought that, like I said, she really did think she was like Richard Daley or something, that she just could run everything. And so I used to tear her down all the time on Facebook. If this was now, I'd be sitting there with my phone going, recording. But yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying, this has been my thing for a long time. I've always been a big civil rights kind of guy.
I'm with you. It's funny because people who actually look into me and and see my doxed information and start be like, well, why don't you go to your hometown and do all this shit? Well, I should now, but growing up, I didn't have to do this in my town because my dad served as two terms as council president, cleaned all the fucking shit up, fired a whole bunch of people, and then when he kind of resigned as the council president, he moved over and took the city administrator job and further to clean the shit up. Took a pay cut. We lived like 3 blocks from the city office. So he got a city vehicle, but he drove it right over to the office. It sat there all day, and then he drove it home. Like the most competent administrator, and he weeded out all the shit, brought in a whole bunch of money, fixed the town, had like the typical small town stuff you'd expect from someone who'd actually run the towns that we're seeing from certain administrators. Like Bill Bailey and Newland and other people who actually do their job, care about their citizens and stuff. So people are like, well, go do it in your town. I'm like, my town's a fucking perfect example of how it should be done. The police chief is like, I'm not going to infringe on anyone's rights. They have the right to speak how they want as long as they're not violent. There's nothing crazy going on in the town. They fulfill public records requests within hours. They show you where the money is. Like, there's things there because they listened, and you had people in charge who listened to their constituents, understood how a business is run, for one, because most of these things are businesses now, so they kind of need to operate at how the bottom line is, and then know how to run personnel, and then just fix issues. So you had all these things, and I'm probably tooting my dad's horn a lot here, but we tell him now. I mean, Lion even tells him, because we'll call him for a lot of things in references to a lot of the things that we're dealing with, and I'll tell him he needs to go consult, because this is how things should operate. If you follow Robert's rules of decorum and stuff, like, this is how it operates. If you don't, well, good on you, I guess. But it's just like people throw shade at things when there's nothing wrong there. Now I say we should go back there because he just recently retired, and they got a new mayor who's full woke and installing all these things. So he's like, well, there goes all the fucking work I did.
I'm going to interrupt here for just a moment. I don't know how far out you travel, Rabbit, but Donna Kennedy Adams, I'm going to put it back up on screen. I don't know if this is something that you would...
Oh, yeah, I know. I am fully aware of that situation. Arnas's path, or Arans's path. Yeah, with the CJ situation and the gym and all that stuff. Yeah, I'd like to get out to Texas, but we need to do some upgrades on our RV before we do that, so we can kind of survive out there. And we kind of want to have our Second Amendment too, so that's kind of an issue.
Yeah. Muckster, are you going to be able to hang in for a little while?
Yeah, I'll be here a bit.
Okay. I actually have some other things I need to take care of, and I'm going to have to shut down. And that's going to take away what, I'm going to have to leave the stream. And when I do, I'm going to have to take the share down. So if you decide to leave, you may have to reset that up from your end.
Yeah, that's easy enough. I just realized you probably don't have the link with Sergeant to pin it.
No, I can't. I can't pin anything.
Yeah, I know. I just realized it probably hasn't been in there for a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you just did it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I could pin the StreamYard link. Yeah, I did that earlier, but
well, I mean, you can put it there, but you can't link it up top, can you?
No, I cannot.
Okay. Yeah, so it disappears after a while.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I completely forgot I needed to put that back down there.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it till just now.
But Benghazi Rabbit, I've enjoyed talking with you. Look forward to talking to you again in the future. But I really do need to get off here. I got to take care of some things, and I'll probably be offline for most of the day. Enjoy. And to the chat, thanks for coming in. And keep these guys in line for me. I know it's a full-time job, but somebody's got to do it.
Pleasure speaking with you. Check you later.
All right.
See you, Colin.
All right, guys.
I was thinking of something to say as he was talking, then I totally forgot what it was. Oh, I know what it was. I was thinking about how apt your names are, Rabbit and Lion, because everybody knows when it comes down to it, the rabbit's going to have to do whatever the lion tells it to.
Right.
And by the way, hello to everybody in chat. I saw a couple people say hello to me along the way. So, you've been following any of that crazy mayor in Dalton, Illinois?
Oh, dude, that shit's awesome. Yeah, it's been great. I'm loving it.
That, on another scale, is kind of like that mayor I was saying about we had in our town. I mean, it's that same kind of attitude, like, oh, well, I'll do whatever the hell I want, except our mayor wasn't nearly that crooked because she didn't have as much money to work with. But yeah, that just, I mean, it's so weird. You'd think it was a movie or something, the way she's like plasters her name all over the place, like she's, some kind of a North Korean dictator or something, and just getting rid of people because they disagree with her. And wow.
Oh yeah, it's it's probably the funniest situation we've seen in the community for years. I mean, it's like it is a movie. She's like the Superman in one of the movies. She's got the whole gangster police force. She's got her private security. She's got everybody doing her thing. And then when people come up, like, no.
I'm not even sure who first, kind of started on to her. I forget the earliest videos I saw. I just love like what what about this trip to Las Vegas and running up all this on credit card? Well, I really have nothing to do with it. It's the council that's controls the credit card. Well, your signature is on the receipts. Let's move on.
I don't remember who it is. My YouTube feed lately has been filled with drone videos, so I don't know what's going on.
So I totally forgot to. I hardly watch. I never turn my TV on anymore. I hardly watch the news lately. I used to be a news addict. I never did see whatever happened with those. Speaking of drones, they said a couple Navy ships were attacked by drones. Was that yesterday? I never did see what came of that.
I fucking crashed my drone yesterday, and it really, really sucks. Fucking really.
I considered. I had some extra money the one time. I considered getting a drone, and then I figured I probably would never get out enough for it to be worthwhile. But that seems like it'd be a cool hobby.
It's really fun. It upped the production quite a bit, and I was working on filming a segment yesterday. Lost connection to the drone, even though I had 2 successful flights from the same path prior. Lost connection, and I reviewed the footage because I found the drone. The fucking thing, when it lost connection, it sped up full speed and yeeted itself into a tree and slammed to the ground at like 100 feet off the ground. And now it's like, yeah, it's fucked. So which sucks because we used the community funds to finally be able to afford one, and while I was filming a new segment, it completely fucking died. So, yep.
Hey, Integrity News is back. So basically, your drone said, "I'm just tired of life," and it cut itself off from you and dove into a tree.
Yeah, it covered the big story, and after it dealt with the environmental situation, it's like, I'm sorry, White Rabbovich, I can't do environmental stories anymore. You are not taking me to East Palestine. Goodbye!
I now see that life is not worth living. You people are ruining this planet.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. The footage is pretty good because you see it just taking its flight, and then it just goes, meow!
I know the one I was looking at the one time, and not who knows if it actually works, but it claimed that if the signal like dropped below a certain strength, that it would just automatically return to the.
So it's supposed to. And it started to. It initialized the return to home when it lost connection, and it told me on my controller, returning to home, aircraft lost. I'm like, lying. I think we lost the drone. Yep. So it is no more, and it really, really sucks because, I mean, thankfully I found a deal on one of the new ones. It was a cheaper one because we're trying frugal with our community funds, save some money on it, but it did not last that long. And
But
that's kind of my fault for getting the cheapest one because I'm sure if I spent a little bit more money, it would have had the sensors and avoided that fucking tree.
well, it's like the old saying that my father used to say to me: "You get what you pay for."
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well,
But sometimes you don't have a whole lot of choices too.
so we're considering our options for replacement. I'm actually going to email DJI and see if they're. Hey, stop
A
eating that.
sponsorship thing.
Yeah, either that or see if they're willing to do something or a fix or send a refurbished one. Maybe we have hit a threshold of subscribers. If a channel with like 600 subscribers can get some free shit, I don't know why I can't get my drone fixed.
Well, every once in a while I watch the one guy's, and it's amazing. I sit there when I'm watching them thinking, I'm literally watching the grass grow, only in reverse. There's those guys that'll do like landscape type stuff.
Oh yeah,
And I forget the one, I can't remember his name now. That they'll go and do places for free, but he'll like always he'll be like, yeah, so I took my Kubota, which isn't what he actually has. It's the only name of equipment I could think of. But yeah, you might be able to come up with a deal like that. So yeah, I got my DJI drone. You mention it in your video all the time. Maybe they'll at least give you a good break or something.
yeah. I don't
I,
see why not.
I wanted to mention something I
I'll
heard you say
totally
though.
sell out and suck a fucking DJI cock for a fucking replacement or a fix.
I heard you say something and I liked it. And I don't know how many people operate this way because I've never heard anybody really discuss it. But when you said your community funds, so you take money that people give you, you know, the cash apps or whatever, and you set up a fund that is your, and
Oh
I'll,
yeah,
I'll just say 1A, although you don't consider yourself 1A, like Sarge doesn't either, but it makes it easier to,
yeah,
but you, for your 1A work, you have that set
yeah.
aside rather
That
than just, oh, all the money's going into our bank account.
That and actually all of the YouTube money goes into that same fund. So literally
Yeah.
everything from YouTube goes right back in. So we do because we're both technically retired. We're good.
Okay.
But when we ask for money, we we will honestly, and we have and continue to do so, take out of our own pocket. However, for records requests when they're like when we ask for one and it's supposed to be like $20 and they're like, yeah, it's 400 some dollars, and they're not willing to fucking fix it, even though our attorney's like, this is not right.
Yeah.
Or, fixing the phone situation, when people smash our stuff and, we need to fix something. Or actually, what we've done with all of the recent funds. So that's why I said we've just managed to be able to get the drone because we um, took some money, donated it to some different GoFundMe's around. We went and when I got my suit, we went and donated some money to the store there because we actually were working with the lady and coincidentally like we didn't know you worked here, so we were working with her for a homeless thing prior. And a lot of people don't know what we do behind the scenes because we only publish the stuff we want people to see on our YouTube.
Yeah.
So when we tell people we're doing a lot, like we do a lot of shit. um, we gave her a bit, so we set up a system where we can get people to that store because it's like an hour or so away. But if they need close for court or a family situation like a funeral or something, and they're not well off, like they can come there and we got them set up. So I think we can afford a few outfits for a few people there, and then we set up some food things going on. We're trying to Lion and I are actually there's a couple properties we're looking at. If we can snag them up, we're going to go to the government auctions because we've already tried to find some. So if we can locate them, we're going to source some bathroom trailers, shower trailers, and we're going to set up a shit shower shave facility in our surrounding area for all the homeless veterans, because we got a really big homeless veteran issue out here and all those. So the funds now are kind of going towards seeding those those seeds a little bit, but we're just putting it back in. We're we get people food and stuff all the time, and we just like being good people because the Lord has blessed us super well. So when we saw the opportunity to get the drone, and it was brand new in package at the store, like $80 cheaper, it was like, oh, this will help for the environmental stuff we're trying to cover. And we got what we needed out of it, and I'd hope we could have got the East Palestine story done, but the drone had enough. So yeah, everything that YouTube gives us, we put right back in.
I like that because a lot of times I watch some channels, and there's one, I won't mention the name. They're really popular, but I mean, they brag about and they humble brag a lot with their couple of properties they own and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, why are people sending them $20? When they obviously probably have more money than just about anybody that's watching them. But I like, like what you're doing is because the people who are sending you money, they're sending you money because they like what you're doing. And and so the money is going to what they want you to be doing. It's not just like, okay, great, we can go out for lobster dinner now. It's like, okay, the people are giving us money because they like what we're doing here, so we're going to take that money so we can continue doing what they like. So yeah, I like that.
And we try to be fully transparent with it. Like I did a couple of months ago, actually before we got monetized, I did grift a little bit for some, and I told them if they did donate, what it would go to would be to upgrade our editing software. And those people who did donate, they saw that it literally, not only did I show them the receipts, and I was like, if you want the receipts, I will show you. I have no problem doing so. But then you could see right after that, the quality of our videos improved. Like we started making thumbnails and all that. So you could see the reinvestment went right back in immediately. So it's not like we're doing any of that stuff. And people who throw in a Cash App, like, I mean, there's some people who got into car accidents and fucking we went out and they needed some shit. They needed help. So we're like, here's the $20 we just got last night. Here, it's maybe nothing, but it'll put some gas in your car or something.
Yeah, cool. But me and Sarge often will joke here. It'd be like, if you go down to the bottom of the page and hit that little $sign.
Yeah, what we ask for is we ask people to just go to our website. And I don't have ads on our website, so we don't get paid for people going to it. It's just we want people to go to it and know that there is an option there if they want. And I think Donna did go through our website, I believe. I don't know. There's an option there for people to go through and just submit anything they want us to talk about. Oh, there's a truck going by. The dogs might go crazy. But we have merch store and stuff, and any of that. Actually, we have not pulled any of the funds from our merch store, so all that's still accumulating. And backing up a little bit, when I referenced the client that I worked with years ago, when we released that documentary, it was one of the times I got hit with a misinformation strike on my YouTube, and they shut down our Discord, they shut down all that stuff, and that PayPal still held with all of my community funds from my community management gig for one of the servers that was going in there. So that shit's still in operation. And if you guys do the math, think of, I don't know how many like paid people we have at now, but VIP to that server, it's a video game server. It's $4.99 a month. And the server itself hosts 400 players. And of that, you have at least 300 VIPs playing at one time. So if you do that on a weekly basis, just do some maths around. Think of like at least maybe 500 people. There's probably way more than that, times 5 a month. Think of all that money going into a PayPal that I can't get access to because they said my truth is misinformation. So that's just still going there. So if we can eventually get that unlocked, that'll be even more. And
Mhm.
hell, we might have the freaking First Amendment summit that we're thinking about hosting up in Put-in Bay and all that stuff. Like there's funds there, but you can tell that the powers that be don't want certain things out. So yeah,
One
screw you guys if you publish the truth, right?
one one thing I would mention, and I don't want to um, denigrate YouTube because they're the reason we're here and doing this. They all, but if people want to donate, they're much better. It's much better like doing Cash App
Oh, for sure.
because YouTube takes such a big
If you
chunk.
actually want to support whomever you're considering donating to, definitely use whatever third party things they have,
Yeah.
preferably Cash App or Venmo or things like that.
But of course, the YouTube makes it easy for people.
Totally.
It's you like save 3 clicks, and you know how people are about having to do extra clicks. I say it sarcastically just because a few years back people would spend all day with a pick and a shovel for 10-12 hours a day, and now it's like, oh my God, I've got to go through 3 different things just to do that. Oh man, it took 30 seconds for that picture to open. So it's just sort of strange what has happened to our society because of the internet. And yes, I am old. Donna says Kaiser burned her through GoFundMe. Color me surprised.
What an interesting situation that is.
Well, that's like, and I am not one of the people that's really obsessed with it, but I learned about that place because of Finkel and just some of the stuff, like we were talking. Well, and it has totally to do with like GoFundMe's and stuff, where he's had people, where there'll be people who are part of his cult, and they're, this one just lost. Hey, Bernsey, this one just lost her husband's having trouble, and this one, and people then donate, and they'll put up a super sticker or whatever, and they'll say, "Hey, this is for Barbie," and that money never goes to Barbie. Like me and Finkel were talking about. Well, I'll tell you an example of it, and a lot of people don't like him, and I'm hot and cold on the guy myself with Chris Ryder. But I happened to be watching him the night that KY Reacts was in a car accident. And they said about he's going to be needing help. And what they did was they directed people to the GoFundMe that KY's sister or somebody started. They didn't say, oh, we're starting what, you know what I mean? It's like, if you're really trying to help people out, you're going to say, oh, there's a fund that they have, direct control out of. You're not going to say, like say something. I heard that Finkel was in an accident. And I say, okay, hey, you guys, if you want to help Finkel out, here's my Cash App. Send me money, and honest, I'll give it to him.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I got educated about that whole thing this morning. Oh, gosh. I'm sure I'm going to be watching more because my feed's probably filled with that stuff now. So in between the drone footage, there's lines here. There's probably going to be some of that stuff. And actually, I subscribed to some new channels this morning because I appreciated their productions. So we're going to see what pops up.
He's kind of a hot topic right now in this part of the YouTube verse.
It's just if what's said is true, it's gonna make it to more and more of the 1A community because they're gonna call it out. Like, how is this allowed? So I'm just gonna sit back and fucking watch this shit. This is
just
already very amusing.
It just amazes me, like how he's got like thousands of people that
Right.
will stick up for him and stuff. They don't care what anybody says. I don't know.
Now it's funny because Lion and I say this all the time, and it's so funny. This JJ guy, it's funny as shit. If you're an elected official, you don't have the same constitutional rights as a normal citizen. You don't. It's a proven fact. And this this JJ guy, I heard him one night after I said that to for public safety, like the first night I talked with the guy, actually the first and only time. And I went over to the another stream, and I was still sitting there watching because apparently they were watching our panel while I was watching theirs. It's funny. And they were getting all upset about it. And this JJ guy's like, well, then how can I carry a firearm and all that stuff? How do I have constitutional rights? I'm like, are you that fucking stupid that you don't understand that that's not a constitutional right? That's a privilege to your job. You're not carrying that firearm as a citizen. You're carrying that firearm as an elected official in the terms of your duty as the Meade County Jail, you stupid fuck. Like, when you leave and you put that badge down, at the end of the day, you don't assume your elected duties, then you have different rights. If you have that badge on, you can't say whatever the fuck you want to say like the rest of us can't. You can't do all this, that, and the other. Like, no, motherfucker. You have no Fourth Amendment. You have no First Amendment. You are a servant of the people. You do what we want. You have, like, we can pull your records. We can do all that stuff. We know everything about you. You do not have the same rights as we do. And they don't understand that. And they're like, well, did that and the other. And it's funny because anyone who actually works in government besides an elected official understands what I just said, especially in the federal government. If you are a GS termed employee, you understand what the fuck I just said. And that's referenced even more with everyone we've talked to. And we published one of those as the interview with the federal agent, and he talks about that. Same thing. If you are elected official, and JJ, I'm sure you cuckold, I'm sure you're watching this, you have no constitutional rights as the same citizens. Do you think I'm fucking bullshitting? Why don't you go educate yourself on what an actual person who worked in the government for over 50 years combined knows? 25 years civilian law enforcement, 25 years military law enforcement, right? They know what the fuck they're talking about. They've served in different things. They've served the president. They've served this, that, and the other. They know that you have no rights. These people don't understand that, and they need to get educated real fucking quick.
I get a kick out of when I watch those videos. It's like right along those lines when somebody will say, to the cop, well, what's your name and badge number? And the cop has asked them their name. He says, well, I'm not going to answer. And, well, if you won't, why should I have to identify if you won't? And it's like, well, because I'm a fucking private citizen and you're a public servant. It's like, yeah, the rules aren't quite the same.
Yeah, it's wild. So it's just funny that we got that on the record and we have that published. So, because Killen is like, oh, well, Wrangler's going to come after you now. I'm like, fucking bring him, motherfucker. Everything we say is to the letter of the law, and we're not murderers. We don't fucking put bullets in people's heads. We just spit facts and truth.
Something I get a kick out of with YouTube is I noticed you have 55,000 subscribers. That's pretty big. I would say that's sort of a major channel. You got people out there that got 100, 400,000 or whatever. But I think Wrangler's got like 700,000 or 800,000, which not 100, 7,000 or 8,000, which I mean, that's impressive,
Yeah.
But then they think, oh, my 7,000 people, you don't want to go up against me. And it's like, yeah, except that's 7,000 people out of like 1 billion people on YouTube, so it's like, don't get too.
That's 7,000 misinformed probably ignorant and arrogant people, and they call me an instance a very broad term and they don't understand it. And then if they actually do some research, they'll see my background is actually like super intense, very well educated. And then they'll look at it even more so. It's all the court cases I've been to, I fucking won. Like, I know what I'm doing. We know what we're talking about. So if they say, and then like even more so with the money aspect, it's like, no, motherfucker, if your heart's true and if you're doing that shit for a legitimate purpose, like we're trying to do, people can say what they want about that. Our legitimate purpose is us having fun, more or less. It's just like, dude, you guys are misinformed. And I think you can kind of see it because from what I'm seeing, he's starting to bleed and bleed and bleed.
Yeah, it seems like some of his real old time supporters are now starting to turn against him. Burns says he's only ever donated to 2 YouTube channels. That's like me. I've bought a couple of the like $3 or $5 memberships, to ones I like. The only place I've ever actually donated to is the one I follow. That's just a total charity thing, nonprofit that they help the homeless and that, so yeah.
So I would be 100% honest with you in chat. I can actually tell you who I've given my YouTube to, like monthly subscriber wise.
Yeah.
It's only been 2 people. And I can say that because it's funny because I actually kind of took pride in had only donated or subscribed to one person or like, membership wise, subscribed to one person prior. And it's funny because I was Denver Metro Audit's first paid subscriber. And I don't know how people can think about him how you want. I just appreciate what he's done. I just, it's one of those channels that I appreciate his work. I talk to him from time to time on personal level and things like that. So it's like, that's cool. That was a milestone when he got it. And I was like, I'm glad to have done that. And then the second one, Lion, I just did was for generally specific recently. It's just to show him that, hey, we're supporting you on your journey. Other than that, like we don't fucking do shit to anybody on YouTube, bro. YouTube ain't getting shit from us.
I don't know if I've ever actually watched a Denver Metro one, but I know of him because I watched a lot of Nasty Nathaniel and they work together sometimes.
I think the last one I watched of his was when he was dealing with one of those like white radar vans out and about. Other than that, it's been a while. I don't really watch YouTube other than like you see hanging out with you guys. But
I'll tell you, well, first of all, for me, YouTube for a number of years was, music, watching music videos and stuff like that. And then one day, you know how YouTube is, it'll say, oh, hey, you like this song by, the Rolling Stones? Hey, well, look over here. Here's a guy that is going into a courthouse with a camera. It's like, I don't know how YouTube made that connection. I'll watch it, and I got on to watch it a lot, but I actually do not watch a lot of the auditors anymore because it gets to be like with a movie, when if you watch a lot of movies and at the beginning of the movie, you go, okay, obviously this guy's going to be the killer. This lady's going to fall in love with the detective. So it's kind of gotten like that for me with watching a lot of the auditors is it's like, as soon as you see it, okay, so the cop's going to tell him they can't be here. And he's going to say, yes, I can. And that's going to, so there's only like a few of my favorites, like Jeff Gray
that's actually,
anytime I see a new one come up, I watch them.
It's funny because I think that's why Tuapri, when he started switching to doing First Amendment style videos and he brought his comedic style to it, I think he brings such a fantastic element to this community that needed to be brought. It's too funny. His videos are just so great.
Yeah, he's wild. So have you ever met Bernsey? Nope.
I have not. Hello there.
Who's having trouble keeping his connection, it seems. Bernsy's over in Europe.
The wrong button. That's
Oh,
all.
okay.
I pushed the wrong button. Guess what? I'm gone.
Yeah, you lost your avatar now too.
Oh, I did. That's
Yeah,
weird.
that last
I
time you
can
went
see
out.
You
it.
are anonymous.
Hold on. Maybe if let me see something here. I'll just mess with it. I mean,
Um.
let me see.
Oh,
Better
there you
avatar?
are. No, go back to the nipple.
Okay, I went back.
Kid. Bernsey is a professional musician.
I was a professional musician.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of like being an alcoholic. You know, they say you're always an
Yeah,
alcoholic. You're just
I'm a professional one of those too. So
yeah,
not an alcoholic, but a drinker.
you're a recovering musician. But
Yeah, there you
anyway,
go.
I got to make a pit stop so you guys can talk.
Now, I've never met you before, so howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation, but I didn't get all of it. What you call it? What the whole conversation was about. So, if you want to fill me in on that a little bit, you guys talking about 1A auditors?
Yeah, kind of just bullshitting around, talking about
Okay. I mean,
everything.
I'm
Really.
not a fan of. I'm not a fan of all of them because some of them are just doing it for money.
Yep, I agree.
And that they're not doing it because they see somebody on YouTube who's doing it well and making a lot of money. Then they go, "Wow, that's an easy way to make money." So let me be belligerent to people and make money that way.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
agree.
I like the one I do like who got started getting harassed by the cops is SLO County Observer.
Yeah, slow.
He caught he caught that video with the cops slamming the guy's head into the ground, and they went on to the local TV, and all of a sudden the cops started harassing him, and then that's just like, okay, you see how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not his fault. He was sitting there, didn't say nothing, was videotaping the whole thing, and he caught it. You know.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Now I can get pretty rabid. So if I'm going off on somebody, I'll go off on them. But I'm not doing it for, monetary gain or anything. That's just my personality. If you fucking do something that pisses me off, I'm not gonna. The filter goes off.
I think that's everybody. I mean, if somebody's gonna mess with you to the point where they push you over the edge, you're going to react.
Right. And I'm
So-
sure if people want to question me, I'm sure you can look at the fucking video where that college kid just slapped me recently. If you say I fucking don't have any restraint, go watch that shit. Like,
College student slapped you?
Oh, dude, yeah, you should go watch that video. It's just great. We were at Bowling Green State University like 2 weeks ago, protesting at an environmental fair. The school has a fire program, a state accredited fire program, and they're funding the burning of lithium ion batteries in a neighborhood next to the town's water source. And we're not talking small batteries, we're talking 40,000 pound industrial batteries.
Okay.
And so we were there protesting that, and this kid came up to me because he was upset that we caught his frat bros on my live stream on the teeter totter, basically fucking looking like little children. So he came up to me and got all pissy, and I called him a pussy, and he got all up in my face. He was like, "Say it again." I was like, "Okay, you're a pussy." So he fucking headbutted me, spit on my face, and then slapped me twice. And then I fucking grabbed him. He thought I was gonna hit him. It was so good. I got the G gun so good. I threw a fake right hook, right? So he would like kind of, like go back a little bit. So it was like, okay, grabbed his ass up, yoinked him up off the ground, and you can hear me in the video go, ah! But the shitty part is the chief of campus police was sitting right there, and he watched the whole thing happen and didn't do a fucking thing. Go figure.
Wow.
Affirmative action, Black Lives Matter, DEI, hashtag DEI.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's a pretty good video. That fucking the short went viral. It got like 5 million views. So that's pretty good.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't get when people protest and they think they're so righteous to the point they can't have people counter protesting them.
Right. I know that's my whole thing is I'm a protester. I'm not an auditor or anything like that. I love to be out there holding a sign. Not for any reason for like a cause or anything. It's to be fucking 100% brutally honest with you, dude. It's just fun as fuck. It's just
Oh, okay.
really fun to go out there and stand with a sign. And a lot of the signs I hold, I don't agree with. I will still hold it to support my friends because it'll be their protest or something. You know, we're there for support and to hang out. And it's at the end of the day, it's like a party. You're literally having a block party for 4 or 5 hours. And if we can get away with having the music, we'll have the music and all that stuff. And then afterwards, we'll go have drinks. It's literally like the most fun you can ever have. And when we have more people, it gets even more fun. Certain people, you know, but it's hard to convey that. But when you get out there, and you see people just get either super, super enthusiastic about your sign, like, holy shit, they're out there with a 16-foot giant penis. Or, you know, you got like 5 guys out there waving American flags, just waving to everybody saying, have a great day, stuff like that. It's really fun to get out there outside, hang out with good people, and just have a good time.
Later, Mirrors 420 DAC. I like Mirrors. He's good.
Later, man. Sleep well. I gotta pull up.
I've seen protesters here in Germany when they protested against the Americans' military here. Seen that German riot police will get behind the gate, a U.S. military installation gate with the big old water cannons. And as soon as those protesters start heading towards the gate and try to climb over, that's when the water gets turned on, and that's when they go flying.
Oh yeah, see that's different. I don't fuck with that shit. Me and my friends will just stand on the corner holding signs. If it gets to a point like that, we're like, nope, fuck that. We're going home and drinking.
Yeah, they put three rows of concertina wire around the post because of these protesters. And then the same protester protested against that place closing down when they did the drawdown here because they knew it'd affect their economy, which it did. And to this day, they're still double-digit unemployment. So it used to be every Easter they would sit there and protest. Amis, the Amis go home with our Aus from Deutschland, all that good stuff. And then then when it was announced that U.S. military installation closing, they protested against it closing, and I'm like, hypocrites.
You can't win, you can't lose.
Well, the other thing, they lose money, and then who they're going to protest against?
Oh my god, it was a massive amount of money.
Oh yeah,
Dude, having a U.S. military installation, that's like having fucking McDonald's right there, just giving you money.
Yep, because the U.S. pay rent on that installation, maintains utilities and upkeep and
everything.
Yep, and then the people are stationed there with their families, the civilians, and they have to hire local nationals. So they're hiring people, the
local contractors, everything.
And then the American people go downtown, the young soldiers go downtown, have a good time at the bars and venues, and other people go downtown to have, to restaurants, go shopping, all that good stuff. That's why Merkel got pissed when Trump said he was going to pull all the troops out of Germany. He's like, I'll put him in Poland because it's cheaper. That was hilarious when he said that. I was like, that was hilarious, her reaction to it. The German prime minister almost lost it because that's a moneymaker to them, man. That's what made their economy during the Cold War. The Marshall Plan was to make this the biggest, strongest economy in Europe, so to beat the Soviets without firing a bullet, and that's what happened.
Right. Oh, excuse me.
Where did Muck go? Did he lose his way?
Yeah, he's probably doing something.
Oh wow, you guys been up for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Oh wow. And I got notification just a few minutes ago. That's weird.
That sounds like YouTube.
Yeah, well, I tried to turn off the notifications. They turn on by themselves. I don't like to be bombarded with notifications on my devices or my phone. It just drives me nuts. Only a phone call, text message, that's all I need. Most people have their social media and all that stuff where I know a friend of mine, his phone was just constantly buzzing. Social media platforms, YouTube, all kinds of stuff.
It's super nice living in the mountains because sometimes our signal is really shitty. So it's like, yeah, of course, disconnect.
Well, I disconnected somewhat for the last few days. I went down to France with my uncle to hang out. So it was a nice drive.
Right now, the fog has moved in.
Oh, nice.
Everything's all creepy.
Yeah, it's starting to get dark here. It's almost dinner time for me. Silence. Can't have silence. Where did Finkelberry Muckster go to? That is totally weird. I got a little...
But I know when I get off here, my YouTube feed's gonna be all sorts of fucked up after my research this morning.
What did you research?
I just fucking went down the rabbit hole of this whole fucking Wrangler situation.
Oh, I've been part of it since it started last summer.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
Well, my thing was this. I heard him last year up on Father of the Trolls panel because I watched some videos of Father of the Trolls, and he started talking about, and then a few times he was up later, he started talking about his military stuff. And I was born in the military. I graduated from a Department of Defense school overseas, and so I've been around it. When I heard this guy talk, I was like, this guy's full of shit. And I'm like, I'm not going to say anything because I have no proof, but I knew he was full of shit. As soon as Stone Vet found it and Master Sergeant retired, got his background, his military background, I knew it. I knew it. And then Shiz got his criminal. I think it was the other way around. Yes, Donna, ich bin in Deutschland an dieser Zeit. Ich komme zurück in Amerika, Texas, in Juni. But anyway, and man, that the reaction, him deleting all his videos from October 2023. If you try to look back on his live streams and videos, are all deleted because he knew, well, he knew that people were going back and grabbing his lies. So yeah, it was weird.
It's pretty funny.
I am about 3 hours, 3-hour drive or 2.5-hour drive from Munich.
Well, I certainly went down the rabbit hole and I subscribed to some new channels. So
Oh, cool.
I got some new stuff to watch.
Who do you subscribe to?
Okay, so I think Frauder Roundup did a short little one on that one. I think there was a lady, Shiz, I think.
Yeah, you got to watch shit stuff on Wrangler. Good stuff.
Yeah, so that is one. Okay, I subscribed to her. And then I saw a really good overview from this Josh guy. That was a really good one.
Josh Prime. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he
that was
did the
it.
latest stuff. Yeah, you got, if you want to see some funny stuff, and if you could deal with somebody being stoned online, Stone Vet is one of them.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. Lion knows.
Yeah, check Stone Vet because he's the one that also went after Wrangler. Started last year. Last summer he went after him. I would say August, September timeframe. Oh, cool. 2 people from Texas. I'll be in San Antonio, June. Oh, Fraud at Reaper. I don't know. Fraud at Reaper got him on maybe t-shirt scams. I don't know what happened there. I don't know who. Yeah. Yeah, those are the two. And I have a channel that puts some Wrangler stuff up. It's under my Burn 66, but I took most of it off because I didn't want that on my channel that much. I put it on a channel I made called Wrangler's Weekly Wrap Up. So I do some funny stuff on him and some other stuff that I found on him. That's something you can check out if you want to, because you're going to be going down a major rabbit hole, many channels. With the Wrangler stuff. Who is Dan Wrangles? Criminal records. Anybody? Looks like I've been left up here all by
I'm here.
myself.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just talking to the missus really quick. Lane, you want to say hi to the chat? We got some of our people in the chat. I think Donna's in there and some others.
Hello.
We're just chatting really quick, seeing what our strategy was for the
Okay.
day, because it's, as you see, it's really shitty outside. So it's like, what do we want to do?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to take off because I'm gonna head down, get some dinner. Made a 6 o'clock reservation for us to go downtown and eat some German food.
Ooh, you all fancy. Look at you all fancy.
Being all fancy and stuff.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some more looking into it, because the first I heard of this guy was a few weeks ago when I first talked to For Public Safety.
Oh, okay.
Because I had never seen the guy or heard of this stuff or talked to him before. And I mean, the missus has, but I haven't. And he just happened to pop on a panel, and I was like, oh, hi, cool, what's up? This is the guy everyone talks about. And then he started talking about Wrangler. I was like, I don't know who the fuck we're talking about, but all right, sounds like a douche.
Oh, he is. He's a narcissist. He sounds like a TV evangelist to me. One of those late night ones when he talks, especially at the end of his live streams. It's hilarious to watch.
I can't wait for him to come after me. This is going to be great.
He won't go after anybody because he's too chicken. He'll block you, delete comments. Once you say something on his channel, that he'll block you indefinitely, like me.
What I was watching when we were on the panel, because he and this JJ guy were watching our panel and talking their shit, is I've seen people in his chat saying, don't fuck with the rabbit. So if their viewers know don't fuck with me, then they know that I'll go full bore on his ass.
He's the dude goes for low-cal fruit, low-hanging fruit. That's what he does. And people that he can get, where he gets people that, so he can get his supporters all riled up and angry. That's why he goes after Chris, because Chris is that type of guy.
Oh yeah.
Chris gets riled up easy and everything else, but what?
No, this is not live. We are not live. This is
live. That actually was me when I put in chat from here, because I'm an admin. It comes up as Finkel, but Finkel's not here.
Oh, okay. But he, like I said, I'm not a big fan of Chris at all. But I'm not gonna. Dude has done nothing to me at all. But he does what he does, and I loved how Wrangler, when he was going after Chris, and he had people that are in around where Chris lives take pictures of Chris's house and post it to scare Chris. So Chris, I guess I saw the Facebook post from them, and what happened was, like, Chris was trying to organize a protest, right? And then Chris said, if anybody decides they want to step in my lane, or basically onto his property, he posted a picture of a gun, him pointing a gun at the camera, which is understandable. But Wrangler turned it around and said, this is what Chris does. If anybody comes to counter protest him, he's going to shoot you. He just twisted it all wrong. I'm like, no, dude. as much as I don't like Chris, the dude says, if somebody was taking pictures of my house and posting it online, that's a threat. And that I would be the same way. I won't post a picture of my guns, but I have guns. And if they decide they want to come up on my property and do anything, guess what? He's going to get it. Yeah, yeah, Meade County is really
Yeah. You know,
corrupt.
I was gonna
Meade
say you
County's
gotta.
corrupt.
Yeah, you can at least throw some appreciation his way for the work he's doing out there.
Well,
I
you know
don't.
what's
I don't like the way
ironic?
he's doing it. I don't like the way he's doing it, but he
Yeah.
is
I
showing
agree.
that county is the way it is.
Right. It's just his way of doing it. I don't know how I would do it differently. I mean, you'd probably fucking hate the way I did it if I did it, but you know, it's just
But it is
everyone.
coming to light. It is coming
Right.
to light how
Everyone's got their journey,
how
and that's
corrupt.
just his way of doing it, I guess.
Well,
You know
he's
what's
shown how
ironic
corrupt they were.
about the gun thing is his cult members will show up at Chris's court hearings and stuff, and they've got guns on their hip. You know?
Oh, really? Is that
Oh,
that
yeah.
one? Is that one dude that was that had the camera in Chris's face and stuff, trying to act all tough, and
Yeah. Yep.
it was him?
Yep.
Oh, he's lucky I wasn't there.
And when he came here, and now this is the thing too. Now Wrangler would never come here. Of course, he won't go anywhere that he can't control what's going on.
Of course
But
not.
we've had a couple of his people here, and that guy was here. And I mean, anybody could go. Well, I don't know if the video's still out there, but we treated him really fair. In fact, it was me, Sarge, and Killen. And me and Killen were like siding with the guy on a lot of stuff because we watched this video and we're like, no, it doesn't look like this. And he swore he did not have, he said, he accused me of like having a gun, and I didn't have a gun that day. Then there's another video. I don't know if it was Chris's or whose, and you could clearly see the gun on the guy's hip.
Oh, Jesus. What a wuss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's being a wuss. I mean,
Me too.
because you go there and you want to do this kind of thing, and you're going there to confront the guy. That's your main intent. You're going to film him, but you want to confront the guy. So, you confronting that guy and especially Chris is a big guy, and I think his brother's keeper is the guy that did it.
Yeah, that's the guy that was here. That's the guy that was here.
Yeah, and that dude, that dude's a wuss. If he's going to carry a gun because he's scared, then don't do what you're going to do. Just because you're trying to make yourself look good or trying to expand your channel, especially to fraud at Wrangler, because Wrangler likes, I got all the roughnecks over there and blah blah. Dude, you wuss. You're brigading somebody. I mean, I saw the pickup truck with the pickles and stuff on that they had there parked there. That's ridiculous. Stupid. Yep. I mean, I'd be curious and go there and just look. I'm not going to say anything, but why would you take the time out of your life to go fuck with somebody? That's my thing.
It's a little off the topic, but my thing on guns is, and I own guns, but I also believe in gun control. But my thing on it is I own guns and I have had a concealed carry permit before, but I do not need to carry a 44 Magnum with me to go down and get a fucking Big Mac.
No.
I mean, I just think, people are so goddamn paranoid and stuff.
Dude, I have guns too, and this happened to me when I was when I was working on Lackland Air Force Base. When I was driving, because I live in northeast San Antonio, so it's a long drive for me. I had somebody have road rage with me, and I'm trying to stay calm with this guy. He drives up on my passenger side, and he's yelling at me, and all I did was stop for pedestrian before I got on the 410 air loop. And he got mad at me, leaned on his horn. It took a few, because this guy was, early morning. He's wearing black. I didn't want to hit him, so I stopped and let him go. Dude behind me got mad. So we get on 410. He's on my right side yelling at me. Then he brakes, gets behind me, gets on my driver's side, And he's yelling at me, and I just, did with my fingers saying, "Hey, man, I just let a crosswalk, and then I just waved my hand to him." Dude pointed a gun at me, and you can't, when you work on a military installation, you can't carry firearms with you onto
Yeah.
any military installation because it's a federal law. You can't. So what I did, because I have a somewhat I would say 180 dash cam, is I slammed on my brakes, got behind him, and sped up to him. And then he realized what I was doing. I was video because I have a dash cam on me, which I got his hand pulling the gun up, and you could clearly see him pointing it at me. And then you see it go away, and then you see his license plate. So when I got to work, I took the chip out of my dash cam, went to work, and I filed a police. I sent file a police report, and that guy is never allowed to own a gun ever again. Because a couple of weeks later, they told me they got him. Why do that?
I had kind of a similar thing happen to me years ago when I lived out in Pittsburgh. Me and two friends. It was late at night, and we're going down this one road, and a guy was coming in on the on-ramp, and he like cut us off, and I blew my horn at him, and he did like sort of the same thing. He he eased off, so he was like next to me, and it was like he was like shouting at his window. His window wasn't even down, but he's shouting at me, and I flipped him the bird, and next thing you know, he like reached down beside him and came up with a gun in his hand, and the one girl screamed at me, "He's got a gun!" So yeah, we backed off. I never took down his license, but it was like, yeah, the same kind of thing, just freaking out over nothing.
I know. And the funny thing is, I had another guy show me and it was beautiful 44, nickel plated 44 that he had. He didn't point it at me. He just showed me, "Hey man, you need to leave me alone." And I'm like, "I didn't do nothing to you. You cut me off." And it's really weird. I agree with Kittle 23, open carries douchey. I was at a barbecue place I'm trying to remember, somewhere north of Houston. And I went to go in and get some food. And then I see this, I want to call it, how do you want to call it? A friend of mine called it some short dude with what they call a watermelon belly.
Oh, okay.
And he's sitting there ordering his food, and he's got his gun in a holster. Now the holster doesn't have a lock, and I'm like, you are the biggest freaking idiot, because somebody could come up right behind you and pull that. It looked like a 9mm to me. Pull that 9mm out and just get you, and then take off with it and do whatever he wants, and that's ridiculous.
That's actually what the Lion and I had that same conversation yesterday, because that's my biggest pet peeve, is seeing someone open carrying, even fucking law enforcement, open carrying with no retention holster, open top holster. And it's like, dude, I know how to use those things and operate them. Anyone with the knowledge to do so could disarm you very quickly. That is my biggest pet peeve.
You know what my thing with open carry is? First of all, this ain't the fucking Old West. But beside that, in theory, it sounds like they're being, very democratic. Oh, Second Amendment, which I won't even get into how people misinterpret the Second Amendment. But they say, okay, it's open carry. Everybody's allowed. Yet somehow, if a black man's walking down the street with a gun, everybody's calling the cops.
Freaking out. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time I open carry is when I'm out at the ranch, and it's because there's a lot of critters out there that can hurt you. So that's why only at the ranch. And then my gun goes into a case when I transport it home or go home with it. So I don't need to have it next to me in the car or locked and loaded in the car. It's it's unloaded, take the clips out, put it into its case, it goes in the trunk, and then I drive. I go home, and then I take it out at home.
Man, not me. When I did have my Second Amendment, nope. I carried every single day, and I've carried every single day for years open. But I also have a level 3 holster where it's secured.
Yeah.
So I'm not a rinky-dink fuck carrying it open.
I'm Italian. I have a temper, so I know me. So that gun goes back in the trunk. So I don't I don't want to push how bad my temper gets sometimes and see where I go with that. Normally I don't do that. But to me, you never know. Somebody can just pull that one trigger inside of me that
I could understand that. There was an incident that I had totally forgotten about from when I was a kid, and we were talking the one day, and I remembered I was in ninth grade, and I was on the school bus, and this older kid was messing with me. And back then, especially around here, everybody carried pocket knives, and I pulled. Oh, just a second. Hey, thanks. Okay, you too. Okay, bye. So anyway, I pulled the knife on this kid, and afterwards I scared myself, and I never carried a pocket knife again. So yeah, carrying a gun around wouldn't necessarily be a good idea for me either.
Joey Simpson. Everybody's got the DAC on there.
Of course, the nice thing is by the time I hit 10th grade, even the 12th graders wouldn't mess with me anymore. I got a little too big for them.
I didn't have that issue because going to school overseas, us Americans had each other only. Even the people who we didn't like, you didn't really get in really big fights with them because you end up fighting a bunch of foreigners that hate you because you're an American. So, oh crap! They're talking about that TPP panel or video or whatever, that live stream.
Yeah,
I went in there and I just lost a bunch of brain cells and I had to get out.
Yeah, I was gonna say my school was super bad. There was fights every week, and when I was there was at least 3 shootings. It was bad.
Yeah, I understand to carry guns in the UK, but there's a lot of knifings there, so it's not really the weapon; it's the person. No, I didn't go up with I will next week if she's up there. I will go up there. Not today because I have family here. So I I will go up there and deal with that weirdo, that wackadoodle.
She did a thing on Sarge. I think it was like last week. There was someone came in here with an Essendon sock.
Yeah.
You know, and I think someone directed me to. She did this thing then where, and first of all, it was hard to hear because she's sitting there, and I don't know if she's drunk or whatever because it was like 2 a.m, but she's talking like this, and that Finkel, and it's like, but anyway, she wanted to declare war on Sarge because he allowed somebody to come in here and pretend to be her. And it was just like psychotic. And she did, I think she did like a couple of videos on it and saying, you coward or whatever. And Sarge ignored her and she went away. But yeah, that over in TPP today, someone said, you got to go over there. And then when I got there, when I started watching, it was ridiculous. But I used to be a regular at there, and I'm glad I'm not there anymore. Because like you say, it destroys your brain cells. There's so many idiots. And there's people there I really like. And once in a while, some of them come over here, and that's cool. But there's just too many over there that are just, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, Lupe was asking why I'm here now and I'm not there because probably she's still up there. Is she really that drunk or whatever? But I'm sorry, I'm about to pop off here, and because I want to go to dinner. But man, listening to her and the way Shiz went up on panel there and she started acting. And first was Mirrors. Mirrors went up there and oh my God. Oh, she left a long time ago. That's okay. I want to go up there when she's there.
Yeah, somebody said she left very shortly after Shiz got there.
Because the way she went after Shiz, what a douchebag she is. Anyway, that and she's just like Kaiser. with her arrogance. It's really funny. And she was getting on Mears for not showing his face. And I was like, I'm going to show my face and see what happens. Oh, Scotto. Scotto, what's up, buddy? So I'm going to get out of here.
I don't know who these names are. I'm so confused.
Oh, you will. Hey, when you go down that rabbit hole of.
I'm already down the hole.
So when you go down that rabbit hole, like watching Shiz's videos, and if you watch any of the live streams, do the chat replay, and you'll see the same names here that you see in chat right now. You'll get to know them.
Did you watch the 20-minute documentary that Josh something did?
Yeah, I did. I finally got.
I thought that was a nice. That's a good way to introduce people.
Yeah,
the whole fraud thing, because it just sort of compacted it all.
Oh yeah. And like I said, go check out Shiz's stuff, Stone Vet stuff, a few other channels that are out there covering him.
MSG retired.
MSG retired.
He hit the veteran stuff really hard.
Yeah, and Shiz got the criminal stuff, and
yeah,
Stone Vet just he pulls it all together. Hey guys, I got to get going.
Yep, thanks for stopping in.
Hey, thanks for having me up.
Nice chatting with you, man.
Hey, nice chatting with you. I'll check out some of your vids later.
Yeah, don't worry. You're gonna lose brain cells. Don't do it.
That's okay. I just want to check it out. All right, y'all take care.
See ya.
Enjoy your dinner, man.
See ya.
He's gonna lose brain cells. Oh my god. Oh god. Everyone's saying prayers and condolences. It's gonna be bad. Tell him don't do it.
You know, I was thinking whenever I took my pit break there before, when I left you and him here, and I thought, this is pretty much exactly what me and Sarge and Ariel and Killen were kind of talking about, where we'd like this channel to go, is just different people coming and having reasonable conversations, like you two are like, into two totally different things, and you get together and talk about stuff. This is sort of like the good side of YouTube.
Oh man, if I can get Dr. Justin Spees on here, if he can talk about what's going on in Lawrence, Kansas, I'm sure you guys would have some really good questions for him.
Yeah, like I said, I watched that one recent one you did at that meeting, and it just amazes me that there's places like that. Especially, I mean, Lawrence, Kansas. I know it's not like a major city, but it's not small. You'd think they'd have, I don't know.
That's pretty funny. Definitely doing another one today.
I would remind anybody, though, that may be listening or whatever, that if you ever come here and you are not happy with what's going on here, you think things are screwed up, blame Ariel. He's our complaint department.
Just glad I'm not getting the complaints for once.
If you want to call the help desk, it's 1-800 fuck you. Why does anybody even have 1-800 numbers anymore, by the way? Because you can call all over the country for free.
That's actually a good question. I strategically use Washington, D.C. area code because it's always super intimidating when you get a call from Washington, D.C.
I worked for years, librarian, and I didn't realize that when I'd call places, because caller ID would only, show so many characters, it would come up as the town name, then P for public library, and people thought it was the town police calling them a lot of times.
Oh my gosh, that's great. It's like the best way to troll people without actually trolling people.
Yeah. You know what technology ruined, by the way, as I think of telephones? When I was a
Prank calls.
kid, yes. Now everybody's got caller ID and stuff. You can't get away with those things anymore.
Yeah, prank calls were the best.
You never again will you be able to ask somebody if their refrigerator is running, or is Dick Hertz at the bar, or any of that other. I forget some of the other stupid crap. Yeah, because now you try to do that, and the person's going, "I know it's you, Benghazi. You're right there. I can see your name on my phone."
Right? Everyone keeps talking about Discord. Throw that Discord link out, y'all. I'm trying to get in that shit.
I I have Discord, but I know absolutely nothing about it. I just got it because I reconnected with a friend a while ago, and she was like, she said, "Well, I use Discord," and so I went, and it's like the only thing I've ever done on Discord was talk to her in our little private room there. So I hear people say about, "Oh, you go to our Discord," and I have no idea even how to find people or what goes on there.
I have such a love-hate relationship with Discord. It's oh my god, because I was on that platform for years. Worked in Hype Squad, got up to events coordinator, got partner, had my own fucking server that was just fucking awesome. Ended up working directly with Trust and Safety and all that shit. And then when they hit me with that misinformation strike on YouTube, just the censorship wave went super hard. And they're like, nope, goodbye. Just completely deleted my main account. Fucking, I hate
It's
Discord
funny.
so much.
It's funny when you said that because from what I'd heard, the way I'd heard people talk on here, it's like, "Oh, well, we'll take this to Discord because we don't want to run up against YouTube's TOS and that." And so I thought
Dude,
Discord was
fucking
more
Discords are fucking
free running.
Discord is full of fucking Nazi tyrants now, and I can tell you firsthand, literally coming from making my entire living, I can literally show you this. My entire property, I made it all from my work off Discord. I knew the inner workings of that shit. They are no different than how old Twitter was. They are sucking YouTube's dick. They are sucking Google's dick and all that shit. And you know why? Whenever there is a censorship campaign, hey, Sansa, stop it. Discord is right there at the center of it. Why? Because that's where everyone goes to talk, and they think they can talk freely. There's no fucking free speech on Discord at all. If you want any free speech, create your own chat alternatives with the open source software out there, or just take your shit to Rumble. Simple as that.
Yeah, I've heard people mention Rumble too. Yeah,
Rumble's great. You can do whatever you want on Rumble. But Discord is very dangerous. It's super awesome to hang out with, but if you start talking about the truth, and if they catch your eye, they'll get rid of you. And one thing people need to be aware of is the way Trust and Safety monitors Discord. They have a thing called ghost mode. And if anyone in the chat is familiar with Discord administration, like being an admin on a Discord server, you know how it works. You see all the channels, you know all that shit, right? With terms or Trust and Safety, if they get a report on you, and I know this firsthand because I watched it happen at PAX when I was sitting there with my Trust and Safety bros. If they get a report and they want to investigate that report, if you are familiar with the report system to Discord, how you can link a specific channel message link or a server link, they'll use that and they'll go into your server under ghost mode. And ghost mode gives them full administrative permissions to go through, and they will literally audit the entire fucking server. They'll audit all your logs. They'll audit your bot logs, your mod logs, all that shit. They'll see what you guys are talking about in your admin chat. They'll see what you're talking about in your mod chats. They'll see how your fucking server's being run. So don't think that they're not watching you guys. If they get a report and they feel like looking in, just be aware of what you're talking about. So this is coming from someone that spent 6 years directly running servers for some of the top content creators now. So I was the direct connection to Discord for all these people I would see all this shit happen firsthand. So just be careful of what you're saying there and what you're posting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's fucking great.
Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But otherwise,
No, it's great. It's just, if you're using it for chatting and hanging out with people, it's great. But then if you actually start talking about the truth and disseminating different photos and videos out and all these things, be careful because they will, they can see it.
I know a lot of people talk about playing games together there.
Yeah, it's great. It's come a long way now. It used to just be a mosh of all the chat channels together, no voice, and now there's like voice. You can stream in it, you can hang out, you can do all these things. There's game integrations, and I've been off of it for about a year and a half directly. I don't know what they're up to now, but a lot of shit.
I noticed one thing just from my little bit of experience with it is the difference, because basically what I was doing is about the same as being here. But I noticed there's things you can do here for free that they wanted me to pay for there, and I can't even remember what now, but it's just sort of like some of the little add-on things for, like if you're doing this there, that and like I said, I can't remember what they were now, but anyway.
I don't know what they're doing now. I just remember that last I was involved with it, they started adding paid integrations and shit, and they had just switched. They have a thing, Discord Nitro. I don't know if it's still around, but you could pay and kind of upgrade it. And
I see that
Nitro. Yeah, I don't know because they had given me Nitro for free for however long, but they had just switched it to 2 different tiers. So it was like $5 and $10, and you could do different things. So you could definitely see them switching to, okay, we're getting into big tech territory. We need to expand, upgrade our operations. Let's get all this fucking money base coming in. And if you think about it, dude, all them fucking trolls and shit paying $5 a month to get fucking gifts and better emotes and shit, super, super lucrative. If you join I remember, dude, we'd all fucking join the Pepe servers with all the emotes and all the fucking emote servers and shit. And literally, you'd have just a whole server list just of all the emotes to just troll around in your conversations. It's great. You can have entire conversations just from emojis. Fucking, I miss the good old days.
I don't. I never wanted to get into where I've got 20 different social media things that I've got to be. So the only Twitter account I ever had was when a couple years ago. I can't remember. Oh, it was during the one debate. Mike Pence had a fly crawling around on his forehead, so I opened a Twitter account as Mike Pence's fly. And just for messing around, but I've never really done Twitter at all. I never had Instagram. I never had Pinterest. I've never had TikTok. It's like this, and Facebook is pretty much.
Yeah, Discord and Twitch. I was on the gaming side for years, so you can't fuck with a guy who literally spent his entire fucking career, his small business career, basically being the head troll. So that's what I tell people. If you want to fuck with me, by all means. I love it. I fucking live for this shit. I'll sit behind a computer and troll your ass all day long. So that's like, if I get back on that, I'm like, oh, let's fucking do it.
What's kind of funny is that girl that I mentioned that I had to get Discord because of her. She's also this will tell you how long I've known her. She also was the reason I had a MySpace account.
There you go.
It used to be. I met her and other people on like game forums that I used to play the games, and it was like, oh well, you have to see, I took these pictures and stuff. Oh, well, you basically got to see them. And then she's also the one that then drugged me to Facebook. And now she drugged me to Discord. So basically, if it wasn't for that one girl, I have pretty much no social media platform at all. Anyway.
It's come a long way. I don't know how crazy it is now, but hell, we have in some of the bigger servers that I would run, we'd have freaking watch parties and shit, and get all the people up in a streamer. We'd have someone stream different shit, and then they started introducing the stages, so you stage chats, and I mean, shit was super crazy, especially in the conspiracy servers we had. Like, man, we had some wild nights.
I see Donna just said she got rid of Discord because she was getting strikes for reposting something. I remember I got to think the one time, I forget what it was. And like my Facebook, I have two. The one that I started way back that I did for the library, and it's got like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 people on it, but I hardly even check it anymore because but I have another one that's pretty much just friends, people. But I one time got a strike because just joking around. I forget someone did, but it was like I grammar Nazi'd them, but I did it by like quoting Liam Neeson with the you do not know who I am, but I have skills. You know that speech from
Taken?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have the same set of skills. I will find you.
Yes. And it was like, if you ever use the wrong there again, I will find that was like that kind of thing I did with. And so I got a strike for threatening language or something. And you know how you can reply to him? I wrote back to him, get a fucking sense of humor. But I couldn't post for like 10 days or whatever it was because I was threatening somebody's life who lived on the other side of the world, and somehow I was going to strangle them from central Pennsylvania. I don't know, but
that sounds like my YouTube career.
Yeah. Somewhere between now and possibly the next hour, I'll have to get off whenever my nurse shows up. Did you ever come across a guy by the name of Lar, L-A-R?
I don't believe I have.
He can be hilarious. His site is LARNCM, two separate words, but he's doing running for president, but he also it looks like he works in like a convenience store, and a lot of times he'll be running live from work, and he was real big on that Tiffany Hendry or whatever her name is in Dalton, Illinois. But yeah, he's interesting to watch sometimes.
That mayor is insane. That is such an unbelievable situation.
I know. You just, like I said, it really reminds me of like North Korea or something, how she's got her little private security force and everything, and hiring her friends for jobs they're not qualified for. It just is nuts.
It's pretty funny though, watching her face lately, seeing the no more enthusiasm really coming out from her like we've seen prior. Like kind of under the fire a little bit there, Tiff.
Oh, I see Donna said Angry Vet just put a video out. I'll have to make sure I check it out after. It's another guy that I follow all his stuff. Oh no, Taz. I thought she said TAV. Never mind. I don't know who Taz is, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I don't know a lot of the players in this drama either. I know more than you guys do, but there's a lot of them. They'll talk about. They'll say something like, "Oh, Jimmy or Josh or Ben or something." It's like I do not know those names.
I just be like, yeah, that guy over there, the one with the funky hair. Yeah, him.
I get a lot of people mixed up anyhow, even like with watching the 1A videos, and you'll be like, well, I remember seeing the one guy who I think he was in Topeka and the police chief did this, but I can't remember, who the guy was, Ariel said to say his name. Why am I able to read chat today, by the way? Usually when I sit back, I can't read it. I must have been eating carrots or something.
Yeah, you got that bushel of carrots giving you that vibrant energy and the focal readiness.
You know what it is? It's like I got from being next to a rabbit, I got a contact high of carrots.
And that wouldn't surprise me.
God, old guy Mitch is still here. It's like can't shake him.
I am going to check out my creek real quick before the rain starts.
Okay. Yeah, Ariel, and if you were here when I said it, but I pretty much gave up on that TPP conversation whenever Jenny got involved, and then when what's his name, Alexander, was saying about to get a Purple Heart, you pretty much have to be almost killed and save people's lives and stuff.
No, that's pretty funny.
It always gets me when people talk with authority on things that they obviously do not know.
Yeah, I don't ever fuck with that channel. Lion always says there's nothing good that comes off of that one other than drama.
Well, the sad thing about that one, whenever I used to go there, sometimes you'd have like really good conversation, like the kind of stuff that we've talked about here and that. And it would just be going good. And then one of the idiots would come in and just ruin the whole thing. And you get people and even I don't mind arguments too much if the people like make sense, but all they do is sit there calling each other faggots and dick suckers, and it's like, God, I graduated high school. I don't want to go back to junior high.
Right. Although stepping back through the doors for this short, brief moment is really fucking funny watching this whole shit show unfold. I think now that the weather's getting better, Lion and I need to start working on our homestead and YouTube channel.
No.
And get away from this whole First Amendment shit.
Well, Lupe, I guess as long as there's no porn or anything, they stay within the bounds of the TOS. And I mean, it's one of those things that there's plenty of channels out there. So it's like, you don't like that one, just stay away from it. It's kind of like I always said about TV. When people would talk about TV shows, it's like, well, change the channel.
Well, and also it runs for such a long duration that there's no one really reporting it, like in such quantities that it'll do anything. If they started spewing hate speech like right off the bat, it'd be so much easier for YouTube to start seeing it. But since they've run it for so long,
well, the thing is too, they don't really do hate speech as in, all of them, they're colored people kind of things. It's just hating on each other. So that's kind of a different thing.
Hate. Yeah, it's not actual like terms of service violation stuff where you know.
Anyway, my nurse just showed up. So since Ariel, Kellen, and Sarge aren't available, I'm going to kick you out and put my videos up until someone else can come in and run things.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm glad. Come back a lot. I like talking to you. I know Kellen certainly does. I don't know if Ariel's been up here while you were here or not, but nobody really cares about Ariel's opinion.
Well, I appreciate it, and I'll check you later. Check you guys later.
I'll see you again, and thanks to everybody in chat too.